right, lead heads. Welcome back to the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 230. The big 230 we are. This is our first, I guess, official first episode of the new year of 2018. Last week, we rolled in our interview from the guys over at Glock where they were unveiling the new G19X, the new Gen 526, and the new Gen 534. And that was an awesome episode. I didn't really count that as my official first episode of the new year because I actually recorded it a few weeks before that. So to kick off my official 2018 episode, I've got none other than the Beastmaster himself, Nick Atkinson. Nick, welcome in, buddy.
What's happening? So we're the first of 2018, huh?
This will be the official first interview of 2018. Yes.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. We got a lot to talk about with you. You've been on a whirlwind hunt out west, so we're gonna talk to Nick about an awesome hunt that he just got back from, and a couple of new projects he's got in the works, and we're gonna have a jackwagon train come in. So our first jackwagon train of the year is going to be rolling in here pretty soon. But what is that? That's somebody's calling me here. Who is? Hey, Nick, can you hold on a second? I need to take this call.
I guess.
All right, hold on just one second. You've reached the lead quarters. Can I help you? This is Left Hand.
Hey, Marty. How are you?
Well, hello there. Is this Shawn?
You know it's me. You know my number. You got it in your phone.
Caller ID Shawn Herrin on the line here with We Like Shooting. You got a little mood music there in the background, buddy. What's going on?
Just a song I've been listening to a lot lately. I think that maybe there's some people that I miss, some people that I'd like to spend more time with.
Oh yeah? So you've had something on your mind?
Yeah. You know that I took over, purchased Firearms Radio Network a few months ago, right?
That's correct. Congratulations on that, buddy. That was huge.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. But it's just always felt like there was a piece of me missing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And you know what that piece is?
What would that be? What are you missing?
Left Hand, I'm missing you, buddy.
Hall & Oates, baby, come back. Shawn is here to help me make a huge announcement, Leadheads. In case you haven't figured it out yet, that's right. Talking Lead is back with the FRN, the Firearms Radio Network. Woohoo!
Dang. Even my studio audience applauded to that one.
That's awesome. So we're excited. You and I have actually been talking about this for a while. We've had it in the works, and we thought episode 230, our first full episode of the new year, to kick it off and make the announcement that Talking Lead is back at FRN, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it. We're really excited to have you. So my goal at the Firearms Radio Network is to have the best stable of content, the one-stop shop for listeners who are Second Amendment advocates, just to go and listen to podcasts, things like that. And how can we be the best if we don't have you?
Well, I appreciate that. I think you might be overreaching a little bit there with that, but I'm happy to be a stallion in your stable.
So we secretly recorded a video, 3 months ago, I think now.
Yeah, it was in Georgia at the Iraq Vet YouTube shoot.
Yeah. And so it's creepy. It's creepy, and it's going to launch right around the time that the show launches. So everyone will be able to watch it and make fun of us.
That's awesome. So now you guys, in addition to everywhere else that you're able to download and listen to the show, you can go, like Shawn said, one-stop shop, and you can listen to Talking Lead at the FRN now as well. So that's awesome. We're looking forward to maybe getting some of our listeners back that we lost back in the day when we made the split. But I think a lot of people understand why that happened, and now that you've taken over, all our confidence has been fully restored, and we're glad to be back, man. We're proud to be back.
That's awesome. We're proud to have you. I seriously, we've been friends for a long time, And it's great to be back under the same banner with both of our shows, or, all the shows that we do. So I'm super, super excited. I know that's obviously a tough decision for you, but I'm confident that we'll take over the world together, buddy. I'm really proud to have you back.
Absolutely, man. And you guys, you leadheads, you can expect a lot of crossovers between shows. So we're going to be getting a lot of the guys from the FRN over on the Talking Lead show. And if they're so inclined, you may be hearing me on more of those shows as well.
Love it. I'm super, super excited. Firearmsradio.tv is where you can find all the shows in the Firearms Radio Network, which will now be including Talking Lead. Talking
Lead, the Leadhead Brigade, ladies and gentlemen. Shawn, thank you so much. We're going to see you guys at SHOT Show coming up here just this week. As listeners are listening to the show, we're going to be in Vegas. Now, are you guys going to be at the Antares Try and Buy event?
Yeah, we will. So I fly in Saturday night because that was actually fun last year. And to be perfectly honest, man, it's for us, every opportunity that we can actually get hands on guns and fingers on triggers, that's the kind of stuff that we go to. A lot of the parties are kind of fun and stuff like that. In fact, we're doing a couple. However, if we can get hands on guns, that's the best kind. So we'll definitely be at the Antares Alliance Try and Buy event.
Very cool. So we'll definitely see you there Sunday. That's going to happen Sunday. Sunday. And then Monday is the SHOT Show range day, so we'll be there. And then, of course, as everybody knows, I don't know if I told you this or not, but Talking Lead will be at the Keltec booth. That is going to be the official lead quarters for Talking Lead at the 2018 SHOT Show. So make sure that you tell all the gang that's coming from FRN to stop by, and we'll have a good time. We'll get everybody on, and we'll cut up and do our usual shenanigans.
All right, man. I love it. I'll send out an email to everyone. I'll even include you on it now that you're back in business with the FRN.
We are back, baby. And one more time, give them the website, the links where they can go to check out all the awesome shows at FRN.
The best way, just firearmsradio.tv. Put it in your browser. Go there, click. I've brought now 6 shows onto the network since I took over. They're all doing extremely great. I'm really excited about it.
You're doing like 2 personally, right? 2 shows a week?
Yeah. No, I do more than that. I do 4
shows a week. So
Holy crap, dude.
I'm on We Like Shooting. I do We Like Shooting Double Tap. I took over the hosting roles of This Week in Guns, and I'm also on a show called Gun Funny.
Gun Bunny or Gun Funny?
Gun Funny.
Oh, well, tell me about that one. I'm not familiar with that.
So that one actually is hosted by Ava Flanell. She was on We Like Shooting for a while, and she wanted to do her own thing, which is awesome. She asked me to do it with her. I just play co-host duties there, so it's kind of nice not having to take all the leadership role there. And it's really, she comes at things from a female perspective, and I think it's great. She's got a lot of female guests, and one of the best parts is she's got a lot of female listeners. And honestly, if we can bring those listeners to the Firearms Radio Network by having a really strong female lead hosting a show, I'm all for it. I think it's great. I love that show. We do prank calls. We do in-depth interviews, and we try to kind of get to the root of why people are in the business and things like that. So yeah, it's one of the good ones in my opinion.
Very cool. I'll add that to my podcast list.
All right, awesome, man. Go to the website firearmsradio.tv. There's some really great other ones.
And there's some
mention
brand
them.
new ones that
mention them.
Like
no, that's what we're here for. Mention them.
Trauma Medical Podcast called the Platinum 10 Podcast. We've also got Trigger Words with Ryan Kleckner. I know most people are familiar with him, even if they don't know who he is, but that's a podcast about gun laws, politics, and all kinds of things. He's going to record episode 10 tonight, and it's one of those podcasts that's short. It's about 30 minutes, and I listen to every episode 3 or 4 times because there's so much information, and it's so important to us as gun owners to actually get some of that. We've also got the After Action, puts trainers and their students on the same podcast and gets to talk about different training items that happened out there from both the instructor perspective and the student perspective. We brought the Gun Collective is now doing a podcast. John Patton and Adam Crowder doing a podcast on the Firearms Radio Network.
Oh, really? Okay. I wasn't aware of that. I knew that they had a YouTube channel that they did.
Yeah, they do the YouTube channel and all that stuff, but they have now launched a podcast. I worked with them for quite a while to, A, convince them to do it, and then B, to make sure that they did it under the Firearms Radio Network banner.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah, so Platinum 10, the Gun Collective, Trigger Words, Gun Funny, After Action Project, and I'm in negotiations with a couple more existing podcasts, and I'm also in development on a couple new ones.
Very cool. So you guys stay tuned. As those new podcasts become available, we'll give you exclusive here on Talking Lead and let you know where to go to listen to them. Shawn, again, excited about this. Thank you so much for reaching out and making this possible. And I mean, it could have been easier. I mean, you made it smooth, and it was a no-brainer. So thank you so much for welcoming the Leadhead Brigade back to the Firearms Radio Network.
Can't wait to have him back. Like I said, we've been friends a long time. Love you, man. Welcome back. I'm glad to have you. And before you let me go, let's just go out to some dulcet tones of Baby Come Back.
Hall & Oates.
Trying to forget you was just a waste of time. Baby, come back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man. Welcome back.
All right, bro. Appreciate it. See you in a couple of weeks, or actually in a couple of days.
Exactly, man.
All right, so awesome call from our buddy Shawn over at We Like Shooting and the Firearms Radio Network. Big news. So I hope you guys are excited as we are to be rejoining the Firearms Radio Network and that whole slew of shows that Shawn's been putting together and revamping and really building that network back up. So we're very proud to be back. Baby come back. So sorry about that, Nick. Completely unexpected there.
It's okay. I'm excited for you.
But I think our listeners know that was planned. So, but it's gonna be awesome, man. So have you met Shawn before?
I have. The whole Cobalt team did the podcast. His what's it called?
The We Like Shooting.
We Like Shooting. Yeah.
Great group of guys over there.
I can't remember if we did it 2017 or 2016. One of those at SHOT Show. It was fun.
Okay, well, cool. I know that they've got some big events planned for SHOT Shows, so you and I are going to be at SHOT Show. So
we are.
I'll make sure you get the info to where all those cool events are going to be happening.
Awesome.
So you can join us. So
I crashed the party like he crashed our interview.
Exactly. There you go. That'd be cool. But I hear the Gunny bringing in that Jackwagon Train right now. So
all kinds of interruptions.
I know it, man. I mean, this first of the year, everybody's wanting to get on the first episode of the year. So let's Gunny takes precedence over everybody. So
that's true.
Bring that train in, Gunny.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right. The first Jackwagon Train of 2018 has stationed. And I always defer to my guest, Nick. So if you've got somebody you want to throw on the Jackwagon Train, you get first dibs.
Man, I always kind of like have just general people. I find it very hard to come up with specific people because there's a specific person that fits into a general category, and usually everybody in that category deserves to be on it. But like you said, I was on a hunting trip over the last week or week and a half, and I'm just going to go with every single person in the airport, and not necessarily a specific airport. Well, actually, no, I will go with a specific airport. What is it? Seattle Tacoma? Is that what it is?
There is a Seattle Tacoma. I've never been to that airport.
Yeah, that one.
So what makes them deserving of the Jackwagon Train? What happened there?
Man, what didn't happen? It's like, so whenever I flew up, actually when I flew up and flew back, I booked 2 different flights because I could basically get a ticket on points from Southwest, from Austin to Seattle. So basically a free flight, right?
Right.
And then Seattle to Missoula, Montana, I only had to pay like $150 round trip for that flight because it's a real short flight. And I guess it's a pretty popular flight because of University of Montana or whatever's up there in Missoula. So on both legs of the trip there and back, I had to fly up on one airline, go get my baggage,
recheck
it in a different different airline. So I got a double whammy of dealing with airline employees.
And you're probably traveling with firearms too, right?
Yeah, it's not as bad as whenever I fly to a 3-gun match because I only had one rifle with me, my hunting rifle, and then just a little bit of ammo. But I have a lot of stuff because, like when we went to Alaska in October, I was there for 3 weeks. And when I went on this hunt in Montana, Idaho, I was there for 10 days. So I've got all my hunting gear, all my cold weather gear, like 2 pairs of boots and just all kinds of stuff. So I've got bags on bags on bags, and they're all like almost overweight. So, just the experience of dealing with the people that do a very repetitive job.
Yeah, the nonsense that we have to go through nowadays for our supposed safety. Yeah,
and every airport every day of the week is different, seems like. But I went to, let's see, so I flew up there on Southwest, and I actually had an overnight stay in Seattle because the way the flights lined up wouldn't really work out for me to get there when I needed to get there.
So where was the actual hunt? The actual hunt was in?
The hunt was in the Bitterroot Valley Wilderness. So in Montana, it's called the Bitterroot Valley. And when you go across the border into Idaho, it's called something different. I can't remember.
Idaho, yeah. So your final destination was Idaho, but you had to go all these different places to get there.
Yeah. I spent the night in Seattle, went to check my bags early in the morning because my flight was early, and get there, and I walk up to the check bag line, and this lady that barely spoke English, but she's an employee in the United States of whatever. That drives me crazy too. It's like you deal with the general public, people should be able to understand you.
Yeah.
She tells me I've got to go, check in on one of those kiosks. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But I have firearms I need to check. And she's like, go do that first anyway. I'm like, okay. So I go over there and I do a little check-in, and they ask me how many bags I've got to check. And I've got, my firearms case, a really huge duffel bag with like all my hunting stuff, plus my day pack in it. And then I've got a cooler to bring back any meat or anything, whatever. So I've got all this stuff.
Jeez.
And
yeah,
I do all the thing, and I'm like, it prints out your bag tags right there. Mm-hmm. And I walk back over, and she's like, okay, tag your bags. And I was like, okay, but I need to check a firearm. She's like, well, just tag your bags and then go to this line. And I was like, okay. So I put the bag tags on. I go to the line, get up to the front of the line, and another lady is like, you have firearms? Because I've got this huge Pelican case.
Sure.
I was like, yep. And she goes, well, you're in the wrong line. And I was like, and I waited in this line for like a half hour.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
that lady over there told me.
Yeah. And she's like, you need to go down there. And I said, she told me I need to come down here. And she's like, well, you're in the wrong line. I said, listen, I'm just doing what I was told. So you tell me where to go and I'll go there. And I've kind of got an attitude because
of course
I hate when you follow the instructions and the instructions you were given were wrong.
Yep.
It's like if you bought something at IKEA and, it told you to put it together completely backwards and you put it together completely backwards and you're like,
listen, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about because it happens it seems like it happens more times than not too. You think these people that work at the airport would know what you're supposed to do.
So I walk over to this other line, stand there, and the guy at that line's like, why are you bringing all these bags over here? And I was like, this is where they told me to bring my stuff. And so I told him, he's like, well, what they're supposed to do is take your other 2 bags from you over there, and then you bring your firearm over here. And I was like, that's kind of what I figured, but, I'm just doing what I'm told.
Yep. But 2 different people.
So I was like, hey, and by the way, I've got TSA pre-check and global entry. Like you sign up for this deal, you go do a background check, you do a
we use that in Denver.
Yeah. You do an interview with the TSA, and then they give you like I think it's like a 4-year approval for pre-check, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I've got pre-check, and they didn't put it on my ticket because I got the ticket at this kiosk. And he's like, okay, well, let me see if I can put it on there. So he, types in his stuff. He's like, oh, that's weird. It won't work. I was like, okay. But I had pre-check. And he's like, yeah, but you don't get it all the time. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, it's only like 80% of the time. I was like, okay, whatever.
Like, no, I'll pay extra for that.
Well, I was like, whatever, take my stuff. So I drop my guns off at the TSA, give him my bags. And he's like, call somebody else over there. And he's like, hey, he's got pre-check, but I can't get it to work. And they're like, okay, I'll take him and like walk him through. And I was like, sweet. And because part of what pre-check is you don't have to take off your jacket. You don't have to take off your shoes. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through the body scanner.
Just walk through everything.
Yeah, basically you just walk through security. I mean, you got to go through a metal detector or whatever. It's no big deal. And you can skip pretty much the entire security line. So that's why I got it, is because sometimes you wait in these security lines that are like 2 hours long. And I walk up there and he's like, okay, go right through here. So I walk right through there, and all that does is take me to the front of the regular line. And I was like,
it's not pre-check. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I hand my stuff to the TSA girl, and I was like, wait a minute, is this not pre-check? And she's like, nope. I was like, man. So now I got to take my boots off, and cause I was wearing my hunting boots because I'm trying to take as little stuff as possible, and I've already got to take 2 pairs of boots.
Yeah.
So I'm, doing all that and whatever. Get through, get done. So the way back, the same thing happens in Seattle. They're like, no, we can't add it on there for some reason. But this never happens on any other airline or any other airport.
Did you find out why?
No. I was just like, oh, my God. So.
Oh, my God. So it was just at this one airport that this was happening.
Yeah, or the airport in that airline, because I didn't have to do it on Southwest either. Yeah, because like whenever I had
who's
my
the airline?
Southwest
Let's call them out.
So it was Alaskan, but it was operated by Horizon or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's some company that they own or partner with or whatever. But I feel like they just probably screwed up, because I'm not even sure that's a real thing. You only get it like 80% of the time.
They're just telling you, okay, yeah, you're good, just so you won't cause a scene or anything.
Well, yeah. So it kind of pissed me off. That's because I paid like $200 for pre-check.
So I've got a kind of an opposite story of that. So we went to Denver for Christmas, and when we were getting to the airport, there was like a huge crash. Mm-hmm. And it put us way behind. So we were like thinking we weren't even going to make the flight. And, it's heavy travel time that time of year. And, of course, it was we were flying Southwest, and it was backed up. I mean, there were people everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I got to give kudos to people who fly, other people in the airport, because everybody we asked were like, hey, we're getting ready to miss our flight. Can we get through? Can we cut line? Not one person did not let us move forward in front of them and move ahead. And we got there with just like by the skin of our teeth. We got to our gate and got on. And I mean, it was 4 of us. So checking our bags and doing everything, going through the security. And we actually used the pre-check too. So we were able to boot scoop through that. It made it real quick. But so I had a good experience with other fellow travelers.
Yeah, you have the exact opposite experiences that I do in airports, I guess. I had another.
Well, that's just one time that's happened. I usually am like you, where I'm getting the run around and people saying, go here, do this.
Well, and it's like, I want to be an asshole, but you can't be too much of an asshole, because they'll just be like,
you'll
you're
go
not
to jail. They'll arrest you.
I had another one that I was flying to a 3-gun match. And I booked the tickets through like Travelocity or Expedia or something where they book all the tickets for you.
Yeah.
And there was an airline change in there. Oh, right.
Yeah.
And so when I'm checking in, when I'm checking my bags, the lady's like, well, you're switching airlines, so you have to pick up your bags and recheck them. And I was like, okay, well, this shows I have like a 30-minute layover. How am I supposed to do that? She's like, that's the way it works. And I was like, okay. And there's a bunch of airlines. Well, there's a bunch of airlines that have like baggage agreements, so you don't have to do that. But it was American Airlines or United. I can't remember which. I think it was American Airlines. They said, well, yeah, you can. We have a baggage agreement, but not for firearms. I was like,
what's the difference? It's a bag.
Yeah. It's got my name on it. I'm picking it up, And I was like, okay. So when I get through all that, and I'm going like I'm waiting to board the plane, I walk over to the ticket counter, and I'm like, or not the ticket counter, but where you can upgrade and stuff or whatever.
Right.
And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, listen, I booked this flight on like Travelocity or whatever, and there's an airline change, and the lady at the ticket counter said that I have to pick up my guns and recheck them with the new airline, and y'all won't just automatically transfer them over. And he's like, yeah. Like, tells me this like,
yeah,
like I was explaining the rules to him. I wasn't explaining the rules. I was just saying, this is what she told me, And I said, so is there any way? And he just said, no. I was like, you don't even know what I was going to ask you. And he was like, okay. And I says, is there any way you can like put a note in there or something to like expedite the unloading of my bags? Because I've got like a 30-minute layover. And it's going to be like I'm running to baggage claim, running to the ticket counter. If there's no line, that's the only way I'm going to make it. Is there any way you can just tell them to unload my shit fast, you know? And he was like, no. Sir, that's the way the rules are. And if you don't like them, I can contact the police and you can talk to them about it. And I was like, what?
What?
Yeah. And that's, I
the
swear
police?
to God, that's the exact conversation.
This
that's
is a police matter now?
That was like word for word how short this conversation was and how fast it went to that.
I would have gotten his name.
Well, so this was like 5 years ago, and I was still a cop. And I was like,
you should have put the badge out, dude.
I said, no, I was just like, call them. And I said, call the police. And they can come over here and we can talk to them about baggage claim issues. And I'll tell them that you said that they were the ones to talk to about it.
Yeah.
Because I know how I would react if I got that call.
Exactly.
I'd be like, this guy said that, you know? So I was like, so what you're telling me is, oh, no. There was another part in there where he said something about you shouldn't fly with firearms. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're telling me not to fly American Airlines ever again. And he was like, well, not if you're going to fly with firearms. And I was like, okay. Thanks for supporting my Second Amendment right.
Yeah, I'll make sure that my following understands that your airline does not support our Second Amendment right.
Oh, man, I had a huge Facebook rant after that.
You should.
So I walked over there and I stood back in line and I just pull up my phone and immediately start typing, you know, like
just blasting.
Well, I can't remember if I typed a Facebook post or if I typed a message to American. I know I did both, but I can't remember if at the time which one I was doing.
I'm sure you got a nice response from American Airlines.
Oh,
probably never got one.
Yeah. And the best part is like 5 minutes after I'm standing there, I'm still typing. I mean, it was like a novel, you know, and, this dude walks back over and he was like, it's just for safety of others. And I looked at him and I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, the firearms procedures that we have. And I said, don't talk to me. And I just like turned and faced the other way and kept typing. You know?
Shut your cake hole, dude.
I should have been like, where are the cops? Didn't you say you were calling the cops?
Right. Exactly. It's a police matter. My bags are a police matter now.
So everybody in the airport.
We could do a whole show. I mean, I could probably do a whole season on airport incidences.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, because we go to the airport all the time. So it's like every time you go to the airport, there's a new story.
There is. I mean, there's just a new case of some idiot that doesn't really know what they're doing, but they pretend like I'm smarter than you. And then they always want to bring the police in on it, too, seems like.
Yeah.
It's all a police matter. But anyway, so yeah, welcome to the Jackwagon Train. I guess we're going to go with that particular airport. We're going to throw all airports on there.
Seattle, Tacoma Airport, or Horizon Airlines.
And Horizon Airlines. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that douchebag from 5 years ago, he's going on.
Okay, let me say this though. The lady from Southwest in Seattle was super cool because I had 3 humongous bags and she didn't charge me for any of them. So
well, there you go. So,
yeah, it ended my trip on a good note.
Very good. Very good. So my jackwagon, it's time for my jackwagon. And you and I were talking about this off air, is I just started watching that TV show. It's called Longmire. And I've been putting it off for years and years and years. I'd always seen it on Netflix, and I just always skipped over it and watched something else. And then I was watching I think it was an Instagram Live or something from 1776 United, James over there, and they got to talking about Longmire. I was like, man, I guess I need to check it out. So I guess it was last month sometime. T and I sat down, we watched the first episode of it, and we got hooked. And I think there's like 6 seasons, so we're just getting ready to start the 6th season. And where I'm going with this is, if anybody has watched the TV show Longmire, I mean, you respect the hell out of that guy. You love Walt Longmire, the character. But season 5, he just turns into like a complete douche. And I'm throwing Walt Longmire on the Jackwagon Train. Just season 5, Walt Longmire. So I'm thinking he's going to redeem himself coming up in season 6.
See, you have to go deeper than that. It's the writers.
Well, it is. It is the writers. And I just found this out, too, is the guy who plays him, he's actually Australian.
Oh, really?
He's an Aussie. Yeah. He's got a hell of a freaking, I guess Wyoming he's a Wyoming sheriff.
Right.
A Wyoming accent. He's just got one of those voices, though. I love his voice. Walt Longmire's voice.
Interpretations vary. I think it's a poem about a man's destructive rage. Achilles was a warrior. He had a partner, a fellow warrior, a friend. There's no greater enemy than the mortal enemy of a friend. So Achilles confronted his friend's great enemy. Achilles gave the man one warning. There is no weapon, no army that can protect this enemy from the sheer hell that is Achilles' rage.
I only watched a couple episodes of it. I couldn't do it, but
I think if you give it another shot, man, you'd get into it. But again,
maybe
with you being former law enforcement, you know, you're going to pick the shit out of it.
And I'm pretty good at like suspending. I'm pretty good at suspending reality and just watching a show that I know there's no way any of it could. Like Sons of Anarchy was a pretty good example.
That's one
of that.
I've not jumped into yet either.
Well, if it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, there's no way this could occur at all, especially in California. Yeah. Because everybody's carrying a gun all the time and they're like having shootouts on the highway and stuff like that.
Right.
Everybody knows who these guys are. Right. And only like 2 of them throughout the whole thing go to jail, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. Whenever I go into a show, if somebody tells me up front, you got to get through the first 5 episodes and then it's really good, then I can do it.
Yeah.
But if somebody says this show is awesome from the get-go, like Breaking Bad, it better be awesome from the get-go.
Was Breaking Bad awesome from the get-go?
Hell yeah. You watched episode 1 at my house.
I did, but I didn't get hooked on it though.
Yeah, we were multitasking. I think we were coming up with hunting strategies.
Well, yeah, we were hunting and videoing and recording.
You remember, or maybe we watched 2 episodes. Remember they put that dude in the bathtub, or the meth head Jesse puts the guy in the bathtub and he melts through the floor.
I remember him like being out in the desert in this house or thing, or not a house, motorhome, yeah, and doing some crap out there, and him shooting somebody. I don't know. It was stressful. It was stressing me out, which is what this Longmire show has been doing to me. It's been stressing me out.
Breaking Bad is one of those where it's like I watched the entire, and I didn't watch it whenever I was on TV, so I watched the entire series in like 3 weeks.
You did some serious binging.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So if you guys haven't watched Longmire, you got to check it out. I think most people will like it. And if you give it 5 episodes, then you'll start getting into it.
All right, maybe I'll try again.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so I was gonna throw another person on, and I'm just gonna leave it real brief, and I'm not gonna go into any real big explanations. But as a lot of my listeners know, and friends, that I do real estate also. I'm a realtor. I had to deal with one today that was just a complete idiot. So I'm throwing that person on the jackwagon train. I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but some people are just idiots.
Give them a professional courtesy. Don't mention the name.
They should not make real estate licenses so easy to obtain. Let's leave it at that. So, all right, Gunny, get that train out of here. I think we got enough for our first of the year jackwagon train there. Got her loaded up. So before we get into talking with Nick about his latest hunt, make sure you guys go back to, I think it was a 223, episode 223, another iconic episode number where we talked about his Alaska bear hunt and sharks. You remember that? You remember that one?
When did we talk about sharks?
I don't know. There was something to do with like jumping the shark or something. And we were talking about so
yeah, I remember that.
With Fonzie and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
whenever you say it like that, I remember. But whenever you said we talked about sharks, I don't.
Bear hunting and sharks. You're like, what? So you got to title stuff like that so people will. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Let me listen to this. And you hook them in, you know.
Right.
So we got another great hunt that we're going to talk about that Nick did. He alluded to where it was. You were in Idaho is where this was.
Yep.
And before we do that, we want to go ahead and thank the people who make this show possible. Our awesome sponsors, Ride On USA, the official optics of Talking Lead. Make sure you guys go to RITONUSA.com and be on the lookout because they've got some new rifle scopes that they're getting ready to hit with you guys. And I think they're coming out with some new red dots too. I'm not real clear on that, but we're going to have Brady on. Like I said, we got SHOT Show coming up. We're going to have a lot of awesome interviews for you guys coming up. So go check out Right On USA and use the discount code LEADHEAD when you go there. And you're going to get a nice sizable discount. And if you're a veteran, then make sure you let them know that. Law enforcement, military, and you're going to get an even better discount. Right On USA. Check them out. Frontier Tactical. Just had those guys at my house this week. They were driving around all over the United States, and when they're out and about and they come through Tennessee, they always stop in and stay at the lead quarters. And they've got some new exciting things coming out for you guys as well. They are the developers of the Warlock multi-caliber system for your AR-15, and then they make their own line of AR-15s. And you can shoot up to 90 different calibers with their Warlock system from your single AR-15 platform, Nick. It's pretty cool. So you can go from anywhere from a 22 all the way up to 458, so kind of 50 BMG. I think you can do on the
all
platform
you want. Now. It's all you want.
It's anything you want, man. You can you can do it. They've got the pistol configurations for the ARs, all the way up to the full length, long distance precision shooting.
All you can handle and more.
Exactly. So check them out at frontiertactical.com. Modern Spartan Systems, as you're purchasing all these firearms from our great sponsors like Frontier Tactical and Glock, and of course you're not going to want to put this on the Rhino, but they make products for Ride-On, is Modern Spartan Systems. They've got your gun cleaners, lubes, oils, and they've got glass cleaners as well. So definitely can clean your scopes with their products. And oh, by the way, they also have a product for your vehicle, the TVT engine oil additive, which has been keeping the old lead sled running now for well over 313,000 miles. We've had a cold snap here in Tennessee, Nick, and the last week or so, temperatures have been down in the teens, and it just zapped my battery. So
oh yeah,
I had to get a new battery for the old lead sled. But other than that, she's been running great. Knock on wood. I think I'm going to probably have to get a fuel pump for her too.
It might be time.
Yeah, she kind of get a little sputtering as I go down the road a little bit. So I think it's probably about time for a new fuel pump on the old girls. But check them out, Modern Spartan Systems, for all those products I just talked about. And who else? Oh, of course, X Steel Targets.
X Steel Targets.
The best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets on the market today is X Steel Targets. Check them out at xsteeltargets.com. They've got competition targets. They've got hunting targets. They've got targets for law enforcement, military training. And they've just got some badass fun targets. They've got the Texas Stars. They've got the dueling trees. They've got some other reactive target like hostage targets and things like that. So nothing more satisfying than hearing that ting of the AR-500 steel target. Check them out at xsteeltargets.com. And then you heard me mention Glock. Of course, our last episode was all about Glock, the new 19X and the new two Gen 5s they've got, the 26 and the 34, which mine just came in today. I guess the holiday shipping and everything kind of threw everything off, but I got mine a little later, I guess, than most people. But I'm going to be doing a lot of shooting with these guns here in the next few weeks after SHOT Show. We got SHOT Show to deal with first. So I'll be posting some stuff on social medias for you guys to look at and get my feedback on it. But I know this 19X is going to be my new carry, without a doubt.
Are they going to do the 19X in a Gen 4?
In a Gen 4?
Yeah.
They're not going to go backwards on them, no.
Well, I mean, they do a Gen 4 of pretty much everything. They do a Gen 3 of pretty much everything. So I didn't know if they were going to...
Well, seeing how this is the birth of them was this generation, they're not going to go backwards on them.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, maybe not.
No, I'm pretty sure they won't. But this one was designed. This was their design for the military.
Oh yeah, that's why it is the Gen 5, is because they changed all that crap. Man, see, I like a 19 slide on a 17 frame, but I'd rather have it in a Gen 4.
Gen 4 because of the finger grooves. You like the finger grooves?
No, just so I don't know. I fear change.
Fear change. If you've not shot the Gen 5s yet, you're gonna love them.
Okay, so if you take Gen 5 apart and you look at the plunger, it's a weird shape. The safety plunger is a really weird shape.
Yeah.
And
they've done over like 30 internal changes on it.
Yeah, see why?
Well, it's more accurate. I can tell you that for one.
Shit, the Glock 34s that I've had are like they're stupid accurate.
The triggers are better on them.
I've got aftermarket triggers for that.
Well, yeah, but this way you don't have to do that. You just buy it right out of the box. You got the Glock marksman barrel on it, and then you got the trigger, the nice trigger.
Yeah, I mean,
but not everybody's a competition shooter like you are, dude. So.
I'm not saying it's not. It's probably not better. I'm saying it was so good before. I don't want anything to change.
No, I understand it.
Because there's certain things that I change on my guns personally, just because I like them better a certain way, like the agency trigger and my guns.
I was like you with the Gen 3 to the Gen 4. I didn't like the Gen 4s. I love the Gen 3s.
I like Gen 3s better than Gen 4s. How about that?
There you go. We're in agreement on something.
So that's what I'm saying. And now it's getting to the point where you can, Gen 3s are getting hard to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I don't like all.
But dude, a huge change for me was I went from a 40 to a 9. How about that? So it took the Gen 5 to get me over to the 9.
So I think we talked about this on the last episode about how you were gay for the 40.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that on several episodes. Yeah,
GHAY.
Yeah,
gay.
GHAY. Right.
But yeah, I'm interested to shoot them, and I like the idea of the 19X. I'm just not sold on the Gen 5 part of it.
Well, this isn't really the Gen 5s came from this design. That's where I'm.
Right.
So. This was actually the one that I was hoping that they were when they announced the Gen 5s. I was hoping this was what they were announcing, but they held off and did. And it comes in the new color too. It's got the I call it Glock FDE, Glock Flak Dark Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting color. I like it.
It's like a coyote tan almost.
Yeah, almost like a coyote tan. The slide is almost goldish. I mean, it's kind of got it's not shiny, but
you're not selling me on it.
Well, you got to see it to really appreciate it. And talking about it doesn't do it justice.
I go by there at SHOT and look at it.
Okay, yeah, they'll have them there definitely. You gonna be at range today? Go shoot them.
No, I don't go there. That's a death trap.
Not if you control yourself. Yeah,
I mean, dude, at any moment, any one of those people could shoot you.
Get an ND, yeah. No doubt.
And some of the guns out there, I don't want to get shot with either. Like they've always got some prototype 50 caliber, whatever.
I got to shoot the Hudson there last year. That was a treat. I enjoyed shooting that one. They're the 9mm. I can't remember what they call it. I guess it's the Hudson something. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a kind of a new design on the. It's kind of almost a 1911-ish Glock. I don't know how to describe.
Oh yeah. I do know what you're talking about. People were like, "Oh, it's going to be revolutionary," and then I never heard anything about it after like the third day of SHOT Show.
Right, exactly. Haven't heard.
What happened to that gun anyway?
I guess it's still around. It's got its, I guess it's got its cult following.
Wasn't that being built in Texas or something?
Where were I had them on the show. I think it was NRA. I had them on the show, and they were talking about it. Really cool people, and the whole concept of how they sat down and came up with the design was really cool.
The Hudson H9.
There you go. That's it. The Hudson H9.
Yeah, man, I remember that was like supposed to be hot shit. And
well, so was the Silencer Co's. Was it Maxim?
Well, the problem with the Maxim is it came out like 6 years ago, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to release it, or it's not
till this year."
It was an M&P, right? Originally.
Yeah, it was like yep. That's what it was.
It was an M&P, and then they went back and re-engineered their own gun, and they shot themselves in the foot, pun intended, I guess.
They pulled the curtain too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped the news before they were ready to sell them. Is the problem, because people would have bought that shit up, and I would probably still buy one, but I'm not. I'd rather have a converted M&P. I don't want some other platform.
Yeah. And speaking of all these guns, if you guys go to High Threat Concealment, they can make holsters for every gun we're talking about here that you own, and they do very nice, sleek, concealable systems too, belt systems, full belt systems for all your carry needs. Check them out at highthreatconcealment.com, another sponsor of Talking Lead. And then as you're buying all these guns and gears and everything, you're going to want bags to put them in. Nick, you got to have bags So
gotta have those bags.
You want to go to VanQuest and get your awesome bags that they've got there. I loaded up during Christmas. I got probably 4 or 5. No, I got 7 new bags from VanQuest over Christmas. And, you know, I'm generous. I gave some of those out as gifts. So, Little Pepper, she's got one. She got a messenger bag, and we used our VanQuest bags during our Denver trip, our ski trip. And,
got bags on bags.
Got bags on top of bags, man. Just love it. They've even got a gun bag there, too. I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. That's my next one to rip open, and probably won't get the opportunity to test it during SHOT. I'm thinking maybe I got a couple of trips after that coming up. I'm going to try it out, see how it works. It's a soft case. It's not a hard case. So.
Hudson Manufacturing is in Texas.
Hudson Manufacturing is in Texas. Okay.
Yeah, they're in Temple, not very far. They're about an hour and 45 minutes from me.
Okay. So if you guys go back to last year's NRA shows, like I said, we did the interview with, I can't remember their names, but the Hudsons, and they talked about that gun. Pretty cool.
Yep. Cool, so, flash in the pan.
Right.
I mean, I'm not dogging it, but come on, it was supposed to be like super awesome, and I literally forgot about it because I haven't heard anything about it since SHOT Show last year.
And weird. I don't. You just looked it up. Did you see a price point on them or anything like that?
I was on Wikipedia to find their location because it wasn't on their website, but I'm sure it wouldn't take me long.
Let's see. Hudson H9 for sale. Let's do that. Let's see what they're going for. See how easily they already get.
$1,000.
Well, that could be one reason right there.
You know, I mean, what's your run-of-the-mill 1911 cost? $1,000.
No, I mean, you can get a good 1911 for $700.
I mean, if you mean good, like I don't even. No, I don't want to say anything.
Watch it. So, I mean, looking at this looks like a kind of like a Smith & Wesson M&P to me.
What are you talking about? It looks like a 1911.
This Hudson?
Yeah.
It looks like a Maxim, really, is what it looks like.
A Maxim without the suppressor?
Right, exactly. It's what it looks like. That is kind of what it looks like. Their trigger, they got a little different trigger in there. This one looks like
a 1911 with a built-in light. It's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it have a built-in light?
No, I don't think at this point it does.
What is that thing?
That's how the slide works. It's kind of upside down.
Oh yeah, like a bunch of the FN pistols, like 5.7. Yeah, but you see under the it does look like a.
See,
it does look,
see,
not like an M&P, but it looks like the Maxim. What is the thing in front of the rail? Like that doesn't have anything to do with the slide. Like what is that giant piece of metal there for? It'd be way cooler if that wasn't there.
That's the spring. That's where the spring is.
Must be a big ass spring. Oh no, it's just really far down, man. That's really weird.
You're talking about in front of the trigger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in front of the trigger, down below the slide. That's where the spring is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Recoil spring.
Right, but in front of the trigger, in front of the where the light bolts on or clamps on.
Yeah.
Like that huge piece of metal doesn't need to be there. You know.
Apparently it does. I don't know. They made it.
Yeah, it's pretty weird looking.
But yeah, so they're $1,000. There's some on Gunbroker. Just doing a quick search on them here.
Yeah, so they're out there in the wild.
They're there. You can get them. Looks like. So maybe I'll get in touch with them. See if I can't maybe T&E one.
I'll shoot one. I don't care.
Yeah, I shot it at. Well, no, I didn't get an opportunity to shoot it. I stepped up to shoot it, and that's when they cut the line off. Right when I stepped up, I was like, "Oh, thanks."
So there's no external safety on it, right? It's got a grip. It's got a grip safety maybe and a trigger safety something.
I don't see a safety on it.
No, I don't know. I have to go by there. I mean, I guess they'll have a booth at SHOT Show. I need to go by there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a grip safety either.
It's got something right in there in the beaver tail. Maybe that's just two pieces.
That's just the cutting, how it's cut.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out more at SHOT Show. I'll get them back on, and we'll get these questions answered and more.
Yeah, tell them to come over and talk to you about it on the podcast.
Yeah, it is. So make sure you guys go and support those that are supporting Talking Lead, and always remember to use that discount code LEADHEAD. And if it doesn't work, get in touch with me, and I'll get that company to reactivate the discount code for you Leadhead special. Oh, and 1776 United, our shirts are ready. They're on their website for sale, so you Leadheads can go pick up the new Leadhead Brigade t-shirts. Yeah.
Fancy.
And I should have some at SHOT Show. So if you hit me up, if you guys are coming, and I've got any left, I'll hook you up with the Leadhead Brigade t-shirt. And I'll put one aside for you, Nick. So
yes.
Yes.
I'm supposed to bring you a shirt. Which one am I bringing you? The skull?
I've got that one, I think.
I thought you only had the logo shirt.
I've got the one with the big we got a picture of us wearing it together. It's the very first one you had.
Yeah, this is the logo shirt. I've got some now that just have the big skull on them.
Oh yeah, I don't have one of those. Yeah, I need one.
What, in a large or XL?
Large fine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm getting a belly on me, but it's going away.
The way those shirts fit, I can wear like all of them. It's just a matter of how I want it to fit.
Exactly. I can wear the extra large. I can wear the large. I can wear a medium sometimes. But
extra medium.
Extra medium. But yeah, 1776 United, you guys go there, and the patches will be along in the next couple of weeks. Takes a little bit longer on those patches, but they're going to be some nice PVC patches. Is that what are the PVC? Is that what they are? PVC patches?
Yeah, PVC patch.
Okay. So let's talk hunting with the Beastmaster himself, Nick Atkinson. Atkinson's?
You're making me plural.
Atkinson's disease? Nick Atkinson.
Possessive.
And this is, so you was a cat hunt and a wolf hunt is what you were going on in Idaho.
Yeah, they call it, I think it's called like their super predator hunt or something like that.
Oh, cool.
So
you went with an outfitter, right? You want
to? Yeah. So it's mountain lion, wolf, bobcat, fox, coyote.
Cool. So walk us through your hunt. What was the outfitters that you used?
They're called Storm Creek Outfitters. Okay. And there's some good dudes. I enjoyed spending time with them. Pretty reasonable prices too. I talked to them about a bunch of their other hunts. I'm definitely going to go back up there. I just don't know for which hunt. I don't know if I'm going to do a bear hunt or maybe a spot and stalk like mule deer hunt because I've got some good mule deer up there. Yeah. But so the primary goal of the hunt was mountain lion, and then kind of secondary animals were all the others that I mentioned. But the cool thing about hunting with them, or what I thought was cool, is like in Alaska, if you went on a bear hunt, if you shot a bear on the first day, then you're done, you go home. With them, the primary objective is to hunt a mountain lion. You shoot a mountain lion, well, you paid for 8 days, you stay for 8 days if you want to. So you can stay and hunt wolves. And you could shoot 2 mountain lions in that unit, but I only had 1 tag. Gotcha. But you can hunt wolves, and you can hunt fox, and you can hunt bobcats, or you could just hang out. And they've got a really sweet base camp that, and I'll talk about that more. That's just kind of fun to hang out at. So I booked the hunt probably about this time last year, and I had all my stuff kind of tested in Alaska, so I knew what I needed to take. Packed a lot of the same stuff, and we can talk about equipment later if you want to.
Yeah.
And let's see, I was supposed to be there on the 3rd, so I flew out on the 1st. Flew to Seattle. From Seattle, flew to Missoula. From Missoula, I rented a car and drove to Darby, Montana. And yeah, I know it's a lot.
So part of the adventure is just getting there.
Yeah, planes, trains, and automobiles.
And snowmobiles. You even hit snowmobiles too, right?
So I ain't got there yet. Yeah. So on the morning of the 3rd, I met them at the ranch just outside of Darby, and Darby is like on the close to the Idaho border. And the reason you leave from there is because you kind of can't access the area that we hunted from Idaho. So you got to access it from Montana.
That's some back country right there.
Yeah, and it's the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness is what it's called. And it's 1.3 million acres. It's like over 2,000 square miles. The Storm Creek Outfitters, from what I understood, was they're the only outfitters allowed to hunt in that area. You can, the public can hunt there because it's public land.
Yeah.
But they're the only outfitters allowed to operate in that wilderness, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Or in that particular unit. I'm not sure. I didn't ask a whole lot of questions. But basically I said, hey, are we going to run into another outfitter out here? And they're like, we're the only ones allowed to be out here. So like, okay.
Sounds like a monopoly, but okay.
So Yeah, so I met them at the ranch at like 8 o'clock in the morning. We loaded all the stuff into a truck and trailer, drove back a little bit deeper into the woods to this spot where you can park and unload. And this is like, I mean, we're in Montana at like 4,000 foot elevation. There's snow everywhere, and the roads are all icy. And it's like, man, this is crazy. So
how was it compared to Alaska as far as bone chilling cold?
It was much colder on this hunt, but it didn't feel as cold because there was almost I can't remember a day that there was even a breath of wind.
Oh, wow.
So, but we did unload from that parking spot, unload the snowmobiles, and that's how you get to base camp is you ride snowmobiles.
Fun.
So, yeah, but it was like 4 hours of snowmobile.
Oh, shit. I bet that fun wore off quick, didn't it?
Yeah, and I've never ridden the snowmobile, so part of it was just trying to figure it out. I've done lots of four-wheelers, lots of dirt bikes, lots of jet skis. Different. No, I mean, to me, it felt like a combination of a jet ski and a four-wheeler.
Okay.
But, yeah, so just trying to figure that out and, to see how, like, kind of push the limits, you know what I mean? Just of your own skill level to see where things get, on the edge, I guess.
Oh, yeah. See how far you can push the envelope.
Yeah, with minimal knowledge. And so it's a really cool snowmobile ride in. So the first camp that we got to was one that they use on some of their other hunts. And we pull into this place to just kind of take a break and eat lunch. And I'm looking around and I'm like, this is not like what I would think of as a spike camp. There's like 3 or 4 basically outbuildings, but they're walled tents. If you've never seen a walled tent, it's like a pine board building without a roof, and the roof is tent canvas. And according to the Forestry Service, I guess is who manages that, those are tents. Okay. But they're basically buildings, and these are considered permanent camps, so they don't have to take them down or anything like that. Every one of them had a wood burning stove, and they were like, we're just going to stop here and eat lunch and go in and knock some of the snow off the roof so there's not too much accumulation, cause damage or whatever. Because there's like 2 foot of snow on the roof of these tents. So I walk into what they call the kitchen tent, and it's a big, 35 by 20 tent. And they've got like recliners and like carpet and a bar, a refrigerator.
Nice.
And what the? Wow, this is nice. But
nice
that camp was actually used by Kit Carson, and Kit Carson was I don't know if he was part Native American or full Native American.
Why does that name sound familiar, Kit Carson?
So he did all kinds of stuff. He was an officer in like the cavalry, something like that, and it's like in the 1800s, like mid 1800s. And he was a famous trapper, and that was actually a camp that he used when he trapped that area.
So Christopher Houston Carson, better known as Kit Carson, is an American frontiersman. He was a mountain man, fur trapper, wilderness guide, Indian agent, U.S. Army officer, became a frontier legend in his own lifetime via biographies, articles, blah, blah, blah. Wikipedia. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there.
Super, super famous dude, and that's the actual camp that he used when he trapped that area, when he was fur trapping that area. So that was kind of cool.
Cool.
So they call that the Kit Carson camp.
Born in Kentucky.
Born in Kentucky.
Died in Colorado.
So from there, let's see, we knocked all the snow off the tent. And by the way, before we got there, we kind of stopped just for a break and make sure everything was running around the snowmobiles. And I was like, hey, wouldn't it be better? Because they had this track that they've kind of pounded out, and it's pretty icy. It's like, wouldn't it be better to just like ride right here next to the track in this softer looking snow, so it's not all bumpy and stuff? And they're like, you get stuck in that. And I'm like, you would get stuck in this snow?
Dude, just listen to your guides.
Yeah. And I was like, how do you get stuck in that? And he's like, step into it. And I was like, is this going to end with you like pulling me out of a giant hole? And he was like, no, just step into it. And sure enough, so I jump off my snowmobile and go down to like just above my knees in snow. And I was like, holy crap. It doesn't look like it's that deep, but if it hasn't been, beat down basically.
Right.
then it's deep. So everywhere you walked up there that wasn't on the trail that they'd made with snowmobiles, it took a lot of effort. So that's part of, and plus you're at a pretty high elevation.
Did you not have snowshoes?
No, they don't use snowshoes because they're so bulky and you can't go very fast if you need to go real fast.
Yeah.
And it's just one more thing you got to carry too. But no, I had boots and gaiters on that, everything's waterproof. So we knocked all the snow off the roof there and then hammered on to the next camp. And the next camp we got to is called Paradise. And it was pretty awesome. It was, I don't know if it was paradise, but it was close to it. Like nestled in the mountains, all right along this river. I think it's the Selway River. Mm-hmm. And there's a kitchen tent, same as the other one. This one, they have a generator at it. So there's electricity if you need electricity in the evenings to have, some lights on. They had a satellite out there. So there was intermittent internet availability, just enough to be able to send texts.
Well, man, you were just really roughing it, weren't you?
That's what I said. I was like, man, I came out here ready to do 8 days in a tent with no heat,
Yeah.
And they looked at me.
No amenities.
They're like, you're crazy.
Do you have a bed to sleep in?
They did. So there's 4 cabins plus the kitchen tent. And I call them cabins. They call them tents. Because they're basically a cabin with a canvas roof.
Yeah.
And every one of the cabins had a set of bunk beds, and I don't know if it was a full size or a queen size bed, but it was big, and a wood burning stove in them. So it was pretty legit. I was like,
nice.
I like hunting, and I like hunting out of a tent. But at the same time, part of me was like, this is going to be the best hunting trip ever. So it was pretty cool.
So this is your first day getting up there, getting settled in.
Yeah, we got there at about 3:00 in the afternoon on the first day after snowmobiling in, and of course we checked tracks on the way in. So the way the cat hunt works is you basically just cruise on the snowmobiles real slow on the trail, and you just look for fresh tracks in the snow. If you see a good set of bobcat tracks, then you can turn the dogs out, and they track the cat and they'll tree them. Or if you see a good set of mountain lion tracks, then you turn one dog out, kind of see how fresh the dog is acting, or fresh the track is based on how the dog is acting. Then turn another dog out to help that dog. In the same way, they'll hopefully tree the cat. If you see a fresh set of wolf tracks, then you can follow those wolf tracks. And we didn't find any that wolves had killed, but apparently you can find pretty fresh kills of deer or elk, and then maybe see a wolf around one of those kills. So that was pretty neat. And lots of fox tracks, lots of coyote tracks. I didn't see any though. But yeah, so we got there at 3:00 in the afternoon and just kind of got settled in, and it gets dark really early there, like 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets light really late at probably 8:30, 8:45. So next morning got up, and it was something like 9 degrees. So it was pretty cold.
That's cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like 9.
Yeah, it was cold. Headed out on the snowmobile, and when we went hunting, actually, I sat on a 2-up snowmobile. So the outfitter was driving, Steve was driving, and I was sitting on the back, so that way I could watch the hillsides and watch the river for tracks. So he's watching just right close to us, on either side of the snowmobile for tracks.
On this day, you're looking for wolf, or you're looking for cat?
Really, we're looking
just
for anything.
Okay.
Yeah, the objective is mountain lion.
Okay.
So we're cruising along, and probably about 11:00, we saw a pretty good set of tracks coming out of the river and coming across the road off the mountain and then going across the river. And they put a dog on it. The dog started doing his thing. It's a blue tick hound. He starts whoop, 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 how hound dogs do.
Yeah, being a good boy.
Yeah, so that was a good sign. The problem is the dog went across the river, and on the other side of the river, it was just straight rock face. Oh. No way we're going up it. No way the dog's going up it, but a cat could go up it, no problem.
So he had the scent.
Yeah, but there's no way. It was just too. The dog could probably have gotten up it, but it was too dangerous. It was dangerous enough to where if the dog fell, then he was probably going to get hurt real bad. So they pulled the dog off of that one. We probably sat there for an hour while the dog did his thing. And then, I was kind of bummed. I was like, man, we found a track and can't go after it. That sucks. Well, it's not like 200 yards down the road we find another set of fresh tracks. And I'm like, man, I mean, is this the same cat? And Steve was like, it probably is, especially if it's a tom, because they're a very territorial animal. There's not going to be two tomcats that meet up a lot because one of them's going to kick the other one's ass and he's going to leave, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and it was really cool because we're riding along and I asked him, kind of what am I looking for? And he said, anything that looks bigger than a deer track, we need to stop and look at. And especially if it's on a rock or crosses a log, because deer and stuff like and wolves don't cross log or walk on logs and stuff.
Yeah. Go over.
So as we're riding down the road, I look over and there's deadfall everywhere, just huge logs everywhere that have fallen down because they treat this wilderness like a natural area where nobody goes in and does controlled burns. Nobody clears underbrush, nothing. It's there until until it rots away or until a natural fire burns it away, So yeah, I mean, you can imagine there's just deadfall pine trees everywhere. But there's one that had fallen across the river and it had real thick snow on it. And I look over and there's a perfect set of tracks that comes across that log. Like it was a bridge.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. So I tapped Steve's
excited
shoulder
now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is like 200 yards from where we just were. So he's like, oh yeah, that's a cat for sure. And we get off and go look at him. And sure enough, it is. So we follow the tracks further down the road, until they cross and turn the blue tick out. His name is Huck. And the handler's name is Russ. And basically Russ is going to go out, see how hot the track is. And then he'll call on the radio and tell us to turn out another dog, and his name is Booger. And I guess if it's a good track, then they get two dogs on it. Then the dogs kind of push each other, and then if it's a good cat, it could potentially take two dogs to keep the cat treed, because if it's a good cat and just one dog on it, then either the cat can kill the dog or, the cat just won't care and he'll just beeline it and outrun the dog. So he calls on the radio and says, turn Booger out. So, and these dogs have GPS collars on them so they don't lose them.
Smart.
And, yeah. So we turn Booger out, and then Logan, one of the other guides, and I kind of reorganize our gear, strip down to just basically T-shirts and waterproof pants and gaiters to go hiking. So we start hiking based on the GPS
weather?
trail.
Holy crap.
It had warmed up by then. It was probably about 20.
Okay. 20.
But dude, I mean, if you're hiking in that, I mean, this is serious hiking, like 2 foot of snow and you're going up the side of a mountain, you're not walking a trail.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like one of those things where you're tired. So you rest and then you take 10 steps, and in those first 10 steps, you're like, man, I'm good to go. And then the next 10 steps, you're like, oh, I'm getting tired. And then the next 10 steps, you're like, I'm really tired. And then, by the time you get to 50 steps, you have to rest again.
Yeah. I'm sure you're high stepping it in that snow and all the different terrain and stuff.
And you take one step that's like, probably 1.5 foot vert, or 2 foot of vert. Plus there's 2 foot of snow on top of that. And then when you put your foot down, it slides back to where it almost just was.
Yeah.
Because you just compress that snow back down. So yeah, it's tough. And there's no trails. You're just busting
blazing your own trails. Yeah.
And you're climbing deadfall. So Russ comes on the radio and says Huck is at this tree, or Huck and Booger are both at this tree acting like they had a cat treed. And then Booger took off running the other way, or not the other way, but kept going, and Huck stayed there. So what they think happened is they treed the cat, and the cat at some point jumped out of the tree, which they'll do if they're a big cat that is fast. Jumped out of the tree and took off, and Booger went after him, but Huck stayed there because there was so much scent on that tree.
Yeah. Thought he was still there.
Yeah, and a lot of times the cats will pee like as they're going up a tree or from the tree or whatever. Just, I don't know if it's a defense deal or what, but so that creates a ton of scent.
Yeah.
So Huck stayed on the tree, and he said, come and get Huck. I'm going to go after Booger. And so we finally made it up to Huck after like I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. No, we made it to Huck after about an hour. So Russ goes after Booger, and we're watching the GPS, and he's like, he gets on the radio and says, go ahead and bring Huck. So we put Huck on a lead, and he said, bring Huck and, start following us, because I don't know if Booger's still on the track or what. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of on the top of this mountain, making our way across this ridge, and after about another hour, we're watching the GPS of Booger, and he's not stopping. Like,
he's hauling ass, huh?
Yeah. He started a half a mile away from us when we got to Huck, and we look at the GPS, and it says we've gone a quarter mile, and now he's 3/4 of a mile ahead of us. And then we go another quarter mile, and he's 1.25 miles ahead of us. Then we go another quarter mile, and he's 1.5 miles ahead of us.
Damn.
So he was just cruising. And this was tough snow. It was like it wasn't real soft snow. It had snowed a lot, and then it had rained, and then it had refrozen. So there was a real thick layer of ice on the top that was like, it wasn't thick enough to hold a person or a dog even. Mm-hmm. So you break through that ice, and that ice is not friendly, and like it would tear the dogs up. Their pads would be bleeding and stuff, from breaking through it.
Yeah.
And he's just, championing, and so Russ comes on the radio, and he's like, I don't know what his deal is, but it's probably getting close to 3:00. So he's like, we're not going to be able to get to him. And if there's a cat, get there and get the cat before dark. So,
yeah,
y'all turn around, and I'll go get Booger, and, we'll just basically meet back at camp. So we start hiking back down, and it took us 2 hours to get to where we were, with about a 30-minute break of just sitting there waiting to see what Booger was going to do.
Yeah.
So it took us about an hour and a half of hiking to get to where we were.
Did Booger ever stop any this time? Was he just hauling ass the whole time?
The whole time he's hauling ass.
So he's chasing this. Him and the cat both are just
for boogieing
an hour. Yeah.
So it took us about an hour and a half to get where we were of hiking, but it was 2 hours total time. So he's been chasing this cat for 2 hours. So
holy shit.
We take Huck and we go back down, and it took us like 15 minutes to get down. It didn't take long at all, because going down in that snow is really easy, because it's so deep that you just basically just take huge steps,
Right.
So we get back down, and Steve is there, and he said, okay, so put Huck back up, and what you do is you pull these little tubs that have like a little kennel in them with hay and stuff to keep the dogs warm. He said, put Huck back in the kennel or in the box, and he was looking at the GPS, and the way Booger was going, it looked like he was going to come over the top of the mountain and then come back down by the snowmobile trail. So he said, I'm going to haul ass down the snowmobile trail and try and cut Booger off, so that way we don't have to either leave him out all night, because, if he'd have gone 5 miles the wrong direction, there's no getting him that night.
Yeah. And the cat could, turn on him and...
Yeah, and there's been situations, I don't think they have had any, but where people have lost dogs because either wolves have killed them or whatever, because they couldn't get them back that night. And I learned later on what you're supposed to do is, if you can't catch your dog, then you go to the last place or the furthest place that you could make it on his trail, and you leave your jacket there, and the dog will eventually turn around and come and backtrack. And when he gets to your jacket, he'll usually like curl up and go to sleep in your jacket.
Okay.
So, and then you go back the next day, and there's the dog.
Get him at your jacket.
Yeah. So, Steve probably, I don't know, he was gone for maybe 15 minutes, and we're sitting there like eating a sandwich and stuff, because even though we only hiked like a mile, it was a tough mile. And he comes on the radio, and he said, there's a big cat running down the road. And by road, he meant snowmobile trail.
Yeah.
And Logan looked at me and said, what did he say? And I said, he said there's a cat running down the road. And I'm just like throwing stuff into the tub, like all the crap we had laid out, I'm just like throwing it all in the tub. And he comes back on the radio and said, he's still in the road, Big Tom. And I was like, oh man. So we're just like piling all our jackets and bags and guns and trekking poles and all kinds of stuff, throwing in there. Huck was already loaded up, and we jump on the snowmobiles, get them choked and fired up, because they'd been sitting there for 2.5 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And
haul ass. It's getting dark about this time, right?
It was like 3:30, so we still got
an
hour and a half or 2 hours of light.
Right.
So we're hauling ass, to where Steve was, and we get to where he was, and he's bailed off of his snowmobile, and he's walking the edge of the trail. And I could see the tracks of where the cat had run and gone down into the river. So he's kind of like looking, and he's waving us up there, and we get up there, and he says, yeah, it was the craziest thing. I was driving, and here comes the cat right at me. Like, he said, if I had a gun, I could have shot him easy. And
now, was this the same cat that Booger?
Well,
was
we
chasing?
didn't know.
Okay,
we didn't know
at this point.
But yeah, so he was like, get Huck out, get a GPS collar on him, and let him out right here. I mean, this is like an unheard of deal. It doesn't happen. Like, you don't see mountain lions running down the trail at you, and you definitely don't get on a track that is maybe 5 minutes old. I asked him what the definition of a hot track was, and he said within 24 hours. So
this sucker was on fire.
Yeah, because the scenario that I pitched was like, say we go out and we hunt all day, and then we come back, and on our way back we see a fresh track, and he's like, that's a smoking hot track, right? So a 5 minute old track is like, this cat in 5 minutes could go a mile, but a mile is not that big of a deal to these dogs, Right. So, and he said if it's the same cat, he for sure didn't go very far, because this cat has got to be smoked by now, because he's done like 5 miles over a mountain.
Oh yeah,
with a dog chasing him. And so he turns Huck out, and we're standing there talking, and I've got my pack on with my rifle in my pack, and I'm kind of, well, like, how far could he have gone? And he's like, well, he's probably somewhere right around here. And about that time, Huck jumps him, and I see the cat actually come out from under like a big log down by the river. And I was like, there's the lion.
And your adrenaline is going through the roof.
Oh, dude. And I'm like unclipping my pack, like, so I can pull my gun out. And I see the cat run down the river a little ways, and then run up the bank and cross back across the trail in front of us, maybe like 50 yards away. And then about 2 seconds after that, Huck is running behind him. And so I'm like running down there, and I'm looking behind me. I'm like, why is nobody coming with me? And Steve's like, don't worry, he'll tree him.
They're looking at their watches.
Well, so yeah, kind of gone over everything, and sure enough, the GPS deal tells you when a dog has something treed based on their movement. Sure. So if they stay in the same location for a certain amount of time, it says that Huck has his quarry treed. So he says, hey, it says Huck has him treed like 50 yards off of the trail.
It's like an app they're using or something with the GPS?
It's I think it's Garmin. I think it's a Garmin unit, and it's actually made for doing dog stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's made for hunting dogs. So we get kind of reorganized. Well, about that time, Russ is coming down off the mountain without Booger, and he comes down and gets there just at kind of the same time we get there. And sure enough, there's this huge mountain lion, like 60 foot up this tree, and he's sitting there kind of hissing or whatever, and Steve's like, well, okay, you can get up there. They've got him treed, and take some pictures and take some video. And I'm like, screw that, I'm shooting this thing, because I don't know if he's going to jump back down, take back off or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And
I'm not here for pictures, dude. I'm here for bullets.
So we slowed down and we took some video, and I took some video the whole time to kind of do an episode out of it. So I'll probably edit that this week and put it up on YouTube.
Cool. So you got some video of him treed?
Yeah, and I mean video of the shot and everything.
Oh,
so
nice.
So they get Huck on a lead, because you're not supposed to shoot the cat when the dog is off the lead, in case the cat comes out of the tree and is still alive, because they can kill a dog apparently like instantly.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Steve said what they do is they grab them with their claw, basically like swat them, but whenever they swat them, they grab them and pull them in, and they bite them in the head, and they crush their skull in one bite.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they're big mean cats. So I got set up probably, I don't know, maybe 15 yards from the base of the tree, and I laid down on my back in the snow, because I'm pretty much looking straight up at him. And, just made sure I was good to shoot, because you always want to ask it's not like pig hunting or varmint hunting down here where it's pretty much you can see it, you can shoot it kind of thing. It's if you go on a guided hunt, you always want to ask your guide, am I clear to shoot? Because they may know something you don't know, or they may want you to take a certain shot or whatever.
Sure.
And it's kind of a respectful deal too. This is their job.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure respect what they want you to do.
How far away were you at this point?
So I'm like 15 yards from the base of the tree that the cat is in. So, and he's about 60 feet up in the tree. So it's like a 30-yard. Yeah, it's like a 30-yard shot, 20 or 30-yard shot. So I said, hey, where do you want me to shoot him? And he said, just kind of draw, because the cat was facing me. And I said, do you want me to wait for him to turn sideways and shoot him in the shoulder or shoot him in the chest? He said, yeah, I mean, just draw a line between his two shoulders and shoot him right in the chest. So made sure they were good to go, broke a shot, and the cat kind of reacts like everything does. It kind of flinched and jerked back, and he actually looked like he was going to fall, and he caught a tree limb and then climbed up like another 10 feet.
Oh, damn.
And so I'm like, do I leave him or do I shoot him again? And, you know, and this kind of goes back to whatever the guide wants you to do kind of thing, you know? So I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing what he wants me to do and not just randomly making decisions on my own. Because I don't know if he wants me to not shoot him, just let him stay up there and because he'd have died. I mean, it's a chest shot. It was a heart shot.
Yeah. What did he say? What did he want you to
so
do?
he said shoot him again because the way the cat was acting, you know, if he came out of the tree, he didn't want him to basically attack us or attack the dogs.
Kill the dogs, yeah.
Because he was still, I mean, he acted like he wasn't hurt very bad. I shot him again, and this time he had turned sideways. I shot him right through the shoulder. It broke his shoulder, and that shot knocked him out of the tree. And dude, a 150-pound cat falling 60 or 70 foot out of a tree is crazy.
That's a big
awesome
cat right there.
So he falls out of the tree, lands at the base of it, hops up, and takes off running. And I'm like, do I shoot him again? Yeah. So I said, do I shoot him again or not? And the way he was kind of running was back towards Steve. So without an answer, I made the call of not shooting again because I didn't know exactly where Steve was. Because Steve was back on the snowmobile trail, and I didn't want to shoot, you know, parallel to the ground, basically anywhere in that direction. Which it would have been, I wouldn't have missed, but you know, you don't know what that bullet's going to do.
Exactly.
So. And you could tell, I mean, the cat was done. He tried it off, turned the corner, and I could see his tail kind of do like the cartoon tail spin up in the air over this bank of snow.
Right.
And Russ let Huck back off the lead, so that way, you know, basically he could get rewarded for doing his job, and he gets over there and thinks that he did it. You know, he killed the cat or whatever. So I kind of pack all my stuff back up and walk over there and take a look at this thing. I mean, it was a beast of a cat.
It was, man. I saw you sent me the picture, and I was like, holy crap, that sucker's huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I was so tired because
is that the biggest one you've ever had? I've
never shot a mountain lion. So,
this is your first mountain lion?
Yeah, it's my first mountain lion.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. And it's good to get a tomcat. You know, they shoot females, but obviously the tomcats get bigger, and the more males you kill, it actually helps the species because the male cats will kill babies.
The
females
kind of thing.
Right. So if you can kill a tom, then another tom will move into that area and leave another spot open for one of the babies to move in. So it actually helps the species.
It helps the population. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, we get to looking at him and everything, and found, you know, the entry and exits of the bull, and they were both. I mean, the first one was a heart shot and probably clipped one of his lungs, didn't exit. The second one went in his right shoulder, went through both lungs and out his left ribs. And this thing still lived for like, I don't know, 30 seconds probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 30 seconds that he could have kicked our ass.
No doubt, man. I mean, you think if they realized that they could kill a dog that quick, they would never run. They would never run from a dog, you know?
And I asked about that because, you know, they have a lot of confrontations with wolves and stuff. So if a lion has a fresh kill and a wolf comes in to try and take it from him, the lion will kill the wolf.
Yeah.
But if multiple wolves come in, then the lion will leave. And I think that's the whole reason that they hunt with more than one dog, is because they get the feeling that they're outnumbered.
The pack. Yeah.
Yeah. They're outnumbered, so they need to and just in life with people, it's easier to run than it is to fight.
Right.
You know,
and they're not fighters, you know.
And if you can absolutely get away 100%, then there's no reason not to leave. You know, unless with people, some other aspects come into it when you're trying to help other people or whatever. But If it's just you and it's like you can either take a chance and maybe die or get out of there, then there's no reason not to get out of there.
Yeah.
And that cat probably has the same mentality because man, that cat went up that tree so fast. And there's nothing else they can go up a tree like that, except for those black bears. But
so how long was it? Did you measure?
They did, but I can't remember what it was. I'll be able to measure.
Cat. I'm looking at the picture right now. I mean, that sucker's big.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, I had
you.
him.
He's almost bigger than you.
Well, that's what, I said, hey, how much do y'all think this weighs? And they're like, 140, 150 pounds. And when I picked him up, I had him under his shoulders or under his armpits, and I stood up with him, and his head is like probably at my chin level, and his back legs are not even extended, and his tail is on the ground, or the base of his tail is on the ground. So and I'm standing on a hill, so I mean, yeah, if he stood up on his back feet, he'd be like 7 feet tall, So
this was your first day of hunting?
That was technically we hunted on the way in, but that was the first day that we went out and actually were 100% hunting.
And you got one on the first day. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was really good because the next day we didn't really do a lot because we celebrated that night with some whiskey. And then the next day, so the third day, it got up to like almost 50 degrees and melted a lot of the snow, and then it froze again. So the conditions got really bad. Like you could almost stand on top of the snow at that point. But if you took a step, then you'd fall through it. So Booger got there.
So they found Booger. I was going to say, what happened to Booger? Yeah,
let's go back to Booger. So cat's out of the tree. We're over there. Huck is trying to play with it like a chew toy. And we're taking pictures, taking video, and everything like that. And Logan went up the hill to find Booger because you could still hear him way in the distance. Booger, woo, woo, because he still is on the trail.
Yeah.
And it's just that cat. Those cats are so fast that Booger's a 6-year-old Walker tree hound, and there's just he couldn't keep up with him through that snow.
That's amazing that he covered that much ground. Yeah.
So I'd say probably 45 minutes to an hour after we killed the cat, Booger got there. And he went between 4 and 5 miles over this mountain, and he was so tired. Like he walked, and we left the cat laying on the ground so Booger could get there and like do his chew toy deal, reward for doing a good job. And he gets there and he walks up to the cat real slow, and he just licks it.
He just licks it.
Yeah, he licked it like 3 or 4 times, just kind of like not even in like a particular spot, just like on his shoulder or something.
Yeah, he's like, good chase, dude.
Licks it, and then he was smoked. And his pads were okay, but like the webbing in between his feet were kind of tore up real bad, and his belly was tore up real bad from where he was jumping through the snow,
Yeah.
And that ice was cutting him. And I was worried about him, but they gave him some dog aspirin, and he ate really good for the next 4 or 5 days and got to sleep inside a couple of nights. And
so he didn't have to do any more tracking after that.
No, he was done. He was done for a week.
He was done. Yeah. He was a good boy. He was a good boy. So do you think that was the one, the cat?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we were talking about it, and because Booger was on the track, on the same track, and basically found us.
Yeah.
That lends to the thought that that's the same cat. Plus the way the cat acted when Huck jumped him out of the river and immediately going up a tree instead of just running off.
Yeah.
That kind of lends to the same, you think it's the same cat.
He was tired.
And yeah. And the cat went to the river, so he was probably going down there to get, a big gulp of water. After being, chased for so long. And we started looking at the cat, and his claws were real tore up, like real bad tore up. And Steve said that was because he had climbed so many trees so fast to get away from the dogs, and jumped it. So there's no doubt in their minds, the guides, that was 100% for sure
the same cat.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So
that was a good story, man.
It was pretty crazy. And what's even crazier is we would have never been able to hunt that cat if they didn't think it was the same one, because it was after 3 o'clock. They don't turn the dogs out on a track because you don't have enough time. But maybe the next day we would have come back through and found the tracks and then turned the dogs out. Because if it was the same cat, then he probably would have just slept down by the river that night. Because he probably, he was smoked too. But yeah, so we hauled everything back to the cabins,
the tents,
and had some celebration. Skinned the cat, and we actually ate some of the cat the next night.
I was going to ask, what parts do you eat of that?
The rear quarters and the backstrap. You can eat the front quarters, but they're supposedly like real stringy. But the rear quarters on this thing are huge. It was like, bigger than a lot of hams that I've cut off of these wild pigs that we kill.
Yeah.
So
sure we ate muscle too.
Yeah. And the backstraps were good too. But yeah, we had some that was like kind of pan fried, and we had some wrapped in bacon.
How was it?
It was delicious. Really good. I brought a bunch of it back.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So, it was real good.
Now, what did you do with the skin?
Hung it out, outside for the next couple nights, and then rolled it up, put it in a freezer, and you have to take them and get them checked there. It's not like in Texas where you can just call and say, hey, I killed a mountain lion, and they document it. You actually have to take them to have some official person check them. I don't know. They did it for me. So Steve went out like 3 days later, hauled it out for me, took it and had it checked, and it had my tag on it and everything. And then it was in the freezer at his ranch whenever I got back in, put it in a cooler with some dry ice, and flew home with it.
Okay. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to get a full body mount done since it's my first one, and it was a good tom.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice one.
Yeah, it'll be super cool. But yeah, so then the next 4 days or 5 days, we hunted wolves, coyotes, and foxes, and came up empty. I think it was just so hot because it started all that snow melted, and then we had another day like in the 40s. And so by the time I left, all that 2 foot of snow that was up on top of the mountains was almost gone. But we hiked around a lot. One day we did like 6 miles through the snow, through the deep snow. That was a tough day. And we found a lot of big tracks. I'll text you some of the tracks that we found. I found a wolf track that was the size of my hand, like completely open.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge.
That would have been awesome to see that one.
Yeah. I think the record for wolves, the North American record, came from Idaho, and it was 196 pounds or something like that.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, I had my fingers crossed the whole time that I could get a wolf that big.
Can you imagine seeing one that? You'd just be...
You'd crap yourself.
Game of Thrones.
So yeah, dire wolf. Yeah, I really wanted to get a wolf, and I'll definitely try and get one the next time I go, because that's another full body mount animal.
Well, that's cool. Your first day kind of sets your whole expectations, I guess, for the rest of the week, and then you just kind of
slowly. It's like starting a night hunt out super fast here, and then just nothing happens after that. But like I said, it was good that we got it early, because if we hadn't, the conditions just got worse and worse. We didn't get a single flake of snow the entire time I was there. So everything just got nastier and icier. So the dogs would have got tore up more, and our odds would have gone down. And it gets to a point where you can't even find tracks. So,
very cool. So this was in Idaho, and what's their season like there for hunting the?
For mountain lions, I think it's December 1st through the end of February. But Storm Creek starts in January, just because the snow conditions are too unpredictable in December.
Right.
I think that's it. Or maybe it's mid-December is when it starts. But there's a lot of lions up there. Like I said, it's a 2-cat unit, the unit that we were in. So in theory, I could have gone into town, got another tag, and come back out and got another lion.
Was it just you? Were you the only hunter?
Yep. For the lion hunts, you can do like a 2-on-1 where they take 2 hunters and you try and get 2 cats. But they don't book, they wouldn't book 2 hunters that don't know each other at the same time.
I got you.
So cool. Basically, it was me and 3 guides, so it was pretty cool.
Your Alaskan hunt that you went on, you were talking about all the awesome food that they were making for you every night. How was the food here?
Oh, it was really good. What
kind of food did you have?
So whenever we were in Alaska, actually, when we were out in Spike Camp, we were eating like Mountain House meals and summer sausage pretty much like every meal. The really good food there was back at the lodge. For this hunt, we were, basically staying in cabins, so the food was good every night, even while we were hunting. And we'd eat sandwiches for lunch, have a good breakfast, like sausage and eggs, and then dinner we would have. Let's see what we had, like a lasagna one night. It was pretty good. We had mountain lion 2 nights.
There you go.
But
y'all were just really roughing it, man.
Yeah, it was.
This sounds like a good outfitter. So what's their name again?
Yeah. Storm Creek Outfitters, and it's stormcreekoutfitters.com, I think is their website.
Okay. So you give them a thumbs up, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going back for sure. And this is the first hunt outside of just going predator hunting and pig hunting that I've used the Beastmaster hunting rifle. So
yeah, so I want to talk about that. So I think we might have alluded to it a few episodes back when you were on that you were in the process of making your own rifle. So you actually got it out now, and you took it out, and this is the first time you used it on a hunt?
Besides like hunting pigs and coyotes down here, and I've shot a deer with it, kind of when we were doing prototyping for this last year. So we started January of last year, 2017, and I hadn't really made it official, but I guess we can make it official as of the podcast.
Let's do it, man. Let's talk about it.
They're available for sale. So this is the first, we've taken pictures of the rifle and on the hunt and everything like that and talked about it. But it's
break it down. Break down the Beastmaster hunting rifle for us.
Let me say that for this hunt, it was kind of overkill. It wasn't necessary, but the potential to see wolves at any distance is the reason I took it. And because I had dope on the rifle with the optic that I had on it out to about 750 yards.
Okay.
So the potential for a wolf shot at over 500 yards was very high. If you see wolves, they're usually not close. For the mountain lion, you could shoot it with anything you wanted because it's up a tree and you're 60 yards or 60 feet away.
Yeah.
So I loaded, I had loaded by Highland Lakes Ammunition, which is a company that I'm partnering with to do a Beastmaster hunting load. So they're going to do a specific load that I want. For this hunt, we loaded some 143 ELDXs going a little bit slower than the 143 factory load. And the reason for that is I didn't want it to explode and do a lot of damage to the pelt because I knew I was going to, if I shot a good one, I wanted to do a full body mount. And lions have really thin or really short hair. So any big hole would be a problem.
Sure.
The bullet performed perfectly. I'm not sure what happened to the first one. I think it may have hit his sternum and hit his spine and stopped.
So you're using a what size is the bullet you're using?
So it's a 6.5 Creedmoor.
6.5 Creedmoor. There you go. Okay.
And it was 143 grain ELDX loaded at about 25-20 muzzle velocity. Okay. And the second shot was perfect too. Went in his shoulder and out his ribs, made 2 little holes, performed flawlessly. That bullet was developed by Hornady for big game hunting, so that it's made to penetrate. So it really did perfectly.
So you built the Beastmaster hunting rifle on a 6.5 Creedmoor platform. So
right.
Talk about the specs of your rifle.
Sure. So we did a 6.5 Creedmoor because all my life I've hunted with a 223 pretty much. And I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, I shot a bunch of coyotes one night, and we only found like 3/4 of them, and they were all really good shots. And I know they were really good shots because all the coyotes behaved the same, and the ones that we found were like broken shoulders and lungs blown out of them. But it's just like I just wanted something with a little more oomph, so it would really put them down hard. And then pigs are the same way. You get a 300-pound pig, and you can put a good shot on it, and it'll run forever.
Oh yeah.
So I got to looking around, and I didn't want to do like a Grendel, 6.5 Grendel or whatever, and didn't want to do a 308 because the 308 has quite a bit of recoil. So 6.5 Creedmoor, it's been around for like 10 years now, and it's really gaining a massive following now.
It has. We've talked about that last few episodes, how it's just really gaining a lot of popularity here recently.
Yeah, and this is like in the last 6 months, And my whole project started about a year and a half ago. So I feel like I was kind of ahead of the curve, and it may end up being a really good thing. But, 6.5 Creedmoor is a 30 TC case neck down to a 264 bullet. And what you end up getting is a really high BC bullet. So it's like you're throwing a javelin instead of a football kind of thing, just cuts the wind really good. It maintains its velocity really good. And the ballistic performance on the bullet is awesome because they've, over the last 10 years of development of this round, so many bullets have come out. And I think some of the best ones are made by Hornady, the ELD and the ELDX, because the BC is so high and they perform so well on animals. And the ELD is a match bullet. So it just like shatters when you shoot something, which is perfect for what we do down here, where we're shooting coyotes and fox and pigs, because it's a big enough bullet with enough mass to where if you shoot a pig, it's going to penetrate far enough. But because it's a match bullet, it's just shredding it comes apart like a grenade, basically.
Right.
And then that's good for coyotes because even though it's a pretty heavy bullet and it's not going super fast, most people would think that, it'll over-penetrate, just make a little pinhole, and it's gone. Well, being a match bullet, it explodes. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's going to splatter.
So, that just was kind of like a no-brainer. That's exactly what I was looking for. Lower recoil than a 308, about the same trajectory as a 223 out to a few hundred yards, but then beyond that, it performs better than both.
Yeah. How's the holdover on that?
So I zero at 200 yards for predator hunting. At 50 yards, it's a half-inch high. At 100 yards, it's an inch and a quarter high. At 200 yards, it's dead on. At 300 yards, it's 6 inches low. At 400 yards, it's 19 inches low. And at 500 yards, I want to say it's 37 inches low, something like that. I'm going off the top of my head here, so if I'm within an inch on all those.
Right.
So it's not bad, because 200 dead on, anything 50 to 200 dead on. 300 yards, if I'm shooting a coyote, I just put it on the top of his back.
Right.
Hits him perfect every time. Pigs are even easier. So that's how I landed on 6.5 Creedmoor, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to go buy a rifle. At the time I was shooting for Cobalt, they didn't make any AR-10 frame, right? Large frame. And I say AR-10, and people are like, oh, it's not an AR-10 because only Armalite makes an AR-10. Whatever, you know what I mean? A large frame AR rifle, right? I just refer to them all as AR-10s.
Sure.
Whether it's Knight's pattern or Armalite pattern or...
It's just easier to explain
EMS.
when you say,
right.
AR-10. Yeah.
Okay, so
everybody
that's what
gets it. Yeah.
For everybody that's going to freak out there, that's what I mean. So Cobalt didn't make that pattern rifle, so I was like, well, I'll just go buy one. And I got to looking around, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. It was either you could buy a really big, fat, heavy AR-10 rifle, bull barrel, whatever, like a PRS type rifle. And the gas gun series got really popular this year too. So that's been a big deal. The PRS gas gun series. Or you could buy what's that company? Christensen, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I think they're like $3,200 or $3,500 or somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
And everything on it's like super high speed, carbon fiber barrel.
Yeah.
And I've always shot proof barrels, for like the last 4 or 5 years of competition, 4 years probably. For reasons, because when you're at the top of the game in 3-gun, you can shoot pretty much whatever equipment you want. And there's a reason I shot proof barrels. We'll kind of leave it at that,
There you go.
So I didn't want to buy that. And I couldn't find one that really was going to be like match grade precision, but not be stupid heavy. So it's like, I can't believe this doesn't exist. So I was like, well, I'll just build one. So I took a proof 20-inch carbon fiber proof barrel, a Superlative Arms gas block, which if you don't know Superlative Arms, you need to, because they make awesome adjustable gas blocks. They don't lock up with carbon or anything like that. And I started getting this thing together, and I was like, man, we should just... And this was all at the same time that Beastmaster was kind of coming about, and I had a business contact that was like, why don't we just form this LLC, Beastmaster Hunting, and build rifles. And I was like, I guess we could.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a whole let's just do it kind of thing. And I was like, I'll do it,
Yeah.
So
he's like, I'm going to do it anyway, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. So by the time I had this rifle built, it kind of became the prototype. And all of last year, 2017 at SHOT Show, I just went around making contact with everybody that I wanted to be my vendors, basically. And because of my career in 3-gun, I knew most of them already and probably got in with a lot of vendors that I wouldn't have been able to get in with, just as Joe Blow calling them up saying, hey, I want to use your stuff. So what we ended up with is a 20-inch barrel from Proof Research, carbon fiber, a billet receiver set from Cross Machine and Tool that's labeled Beastmaster. It actually says Cross Machine and Tool on there also. But he took his design, tweaked it a little bit, put my logo on it, and put some like claw marks in the upper receiver. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And so I pretty much took a precision rifle and kept all of the precision stuff, but got rid of all the bullshit that made it real heavy, So it's a billet receiver set. That's part of your precision, right? It's a Proof Research barrel, which is a very precise barrel. I ended up using a Midwest Industries handguard, which is just kind of a minimalist handguard. There's nothing super fancy about it. It's just the right length to where the gas block just sticks out the end of it just a little bit. We actually tried to have some of our some handguards made, but they just didn't quite work out. So let's see what else. Timney last year released their 1.5-pound Calvin Elite AR trigger. Just so happens it also works in an AR-10. So I mean, the biggest gripe I think I hear from people that hunt with bolt guns over ARs is you're never going to get a trigger in an AR as good as my bolt gun, which is true. Yeah. Okay, but at 1.5 pounds. The Calvin Elite AR trigger is pretty close.
Right.
I actually turned my adjustable Calvin Elite triggers in my bolt guns that I use for hunting up to 1.75 pounds, just because I like it right there at 1.75 pounds.
Right. Sometimes you get them too light,
Yeah, but the 1.5 pounds and the and plus with an AR triggers, you get a little more travel than you do in a bolt gun. So the 1.5 pounds feels a little bit more just because you get a little more travel.
Yeah.
A Luth AR NBA 4 stock, so it's just basically just the frame of the stock, and it's a what is that? And it's like an injected fiberglass or whatever stock, so it's super light. It's kind of like a polymer fiberglass.
Yeah, I've seen
mix.
the Luth R's or whatever they.
Yeah, Luth AR. Yeah, and Ergo grip, because I love Ergo grips. I love the feel of them.
I do too.
They're kind of tacky. Let's see what else.
What about your brake?
So the rifle, because it is it's the Beastmaster hunting rifle, the BMH-10. It doesn't come from the factory or from me with a brake on it, because I don't know if you're going to want to put your suppressor on it, or if you want to put a brake on it, if you want to put a flash hider on it. So I just put a thread protector on it.
Okay.
It's kind of a bullshit
sense.
throw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bullshit throwaway piece, but because it's a hunting rifle, if I wasn't going to put a suppressor on it, then I would just shoot it with a thread protector on it, because I don't need the recoil to be managed. Doesn't have a ton of recoil anyway, because it's 6.5, and I don't want it to blow my eardrums when I shoot it. If I'm not wearing ear pro.
Did you?
Which a lot of people don't.
Right. Did you talk about your the bolt that you're using?
No, I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
But if you ordered one and you said I absolutely have to have this muzzle brake on it, then we just tack on the price of the muzzle brake and I'll put it on and send it to you.
Sure.
But yeah, the thought was we'll just put a thread protector on it. When you get it, you can put whatever you want on it. But I'm going to shoot mine suppressed. So if I'm going to put a direct thread suppressor on it, then I'll just unscrew that, put my suppressor on it, good to go.
And this hunt that you're on, it was a suppressed hunt?
Yep, I shot it suppressed. I shoot my rifle suppressed unless it's illegal. You know, so
yeah, and that's Idaho, what I was getting at. So it was legal to hunt suppressed there.
Yeah, and the guides really loved it. So the bolt carrier group is made by a vendor for me. It's a nickel boron bolt carrier group. Super high speed, very high quality. But basically, it's just, I'm like kind of like every other, or not every other rifle manufacturer. I'm like 75% of the other rifle manufacturers where I don't actually manufacture any of the parts. I just have them manufactured for me to the spec that I want. Then I assemble, test fire, and I actually shoot a group with all the rifles that I build to make sure that they shoot, awesome, basically.
Sure.
Because we're just getting started. I've only built about 10. But every single one of those rifles has shot sub 3/4 inch groups with box ammo. That's just, with ammo that you can go buy off the shelf.
Any sort of special buffer system you're using?
Nope, because like we talked about, it's a hunting rifle, so
okay.
The adjustable gas block is on there. So that way, if you switch ammo, because 6.5
ammo
offers,
suppressed or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and the suppressor is a big part of that, but also ammo with a 6.5, you can go all the way down to like an 80 grain bullet, or you can go up to a 147 grain bullet. So there's a huge variance in ammo. So you need that adjustable gas, and plus AR-10s in general are pretty finicky about how their gas. I mean, you experienced that whenever
I was going to say
hunting.
I found that out firsthand on the hog hunt with my Nordic 308.
Yeah, so it's just, you need that adjustable gas.
And since then, they started putting adjustable gas blocks on them.
There you go. So, yeah, nothing fancy with the buffer system. It is a carbine buffer system because we have the collapsible NBA4 stock on there. And the reason I did that is because I don't like fixed stocks on rifles. In the NBA4, you can get to the spot you want it, and then you can tighten this one screw down, and it'll make it where it doesn't move.
Yeah.
So you get that rigidity. And plus, if you put a thermal optic on it, you have to have your eye really close to the thermal. You probably experienced that too whenever you were down here.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your eye really close. So if you had a long stock, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of things that I came up with that are kind of different, and I don't know of anybody that's ever done it before. I actually put an extra hole in the receiver set, and it's so you can run like your battery cable from your electronic optic back to your stock. And
okay, that's smart. The
little hole there is for a wire guide.
Yeah.
So you can take and I've got the part number if anybody needs it, or I've got some of the parts that'll go out with if you order it that way. But it's basically like a dash plug for like a Chevy.
Yeah.
Whatever dash, just those little plastic plugs, and then you take a wire guide from wherever, Home Depot, and you run your battery cable through that, stick that plug into the receiver, and it holds your wire real close to the receiver. You put another one on the stock, and then I've got this fiberglass, these two fiberglass pieces that will hold a battery pack and a DVR kind of in the middle of that NBA4 stock. So it just cleans it all up, whenever you're, I think whenever you were down here, I didn't have those pieces made yet. So whenever we were filming all that, whenever we were filming all that, it's just like the battery pack and the DVR just go in these like pouches that are zip tied or strapped to or bungee corded to your gun. They're flopping all over the place and the wires are going, I hated it. So I was like,
well, you've put a lot of thought into this design of this rifle. And
and that's really specific to if you're running an electronic optic or whatever. But that's kind of, what I was going for.
That's modern day. I mean, that's what, a lot of these manufacturers aren't thinking of, but that's, a lot of the problems that modern day shooters run into because, people are running all these different, cameras and optics and things on there that have the wires.
And it doesn't hinder anything. It doesn't cost you anymore. Because whenever I have that machined, I literally gave them the spec and the location of the hole, and they put one more hole in it. That didn't cost me any extra, so it doesn't cost you any extra,
There you go. So speaking of
cost,
Speaking of cost, what are we looking at for a Beastmaster hunting rifle?
So I'm doing it a few different ways. Speaking of Coyote Tan, earlier we were talking about that. You can get it in black with a tan stock and tan grip, or you can get it in kind of our version of Coyote Tan, which is pretty cool. We kind of came up with it just messing around, and Cerakote. If you get a black one, it's black anodized.
Yeah.
But if you get a tan one, it's actually, let's see, how did we do it?
Did you mix some colors?
No. So you take the black anodized pieces.
You may not want to give your secret away.
Oh man, come on, it's easy to figure out.
Okay.
Okay. But okay, well here, okay, all right. I'll take your advice. But basically, it's we take the black anodized pieces and we make it so that you can Cerakote directly over the black anodizing without taking the anodizing all the way down, or even down a little bit. And it makes a really cool, and we spray it on real light, so we call it Ghosted Coyote. That's kind of what we came up with for now.
Okay.
It kind of makes it a brownish, tannish, black, like gives it kind of a marbling, and then when it wears really cool.
Now, do you have these on your site right now? Are they up and for people can go look and
when's this podcast going to be posted?
It's going to be Monday.
They might be up Monday, but if not, they're going to be up very soon because they're supposed to have already been up.
Okay. And your website again?
Beastmasterhunting.com.
Beastmasterhunting.com. So you guys go check. It may not be up yet by the time you hear this, but it'll be soon after. So
yeah. Oh, and we never did get to a price. So anyway, there's a couple different options. It'll go from anywhere from about $2,900 to about $3,500, depending on
what you want on.
Cerakote and the fiberglass stock pieces, whether you want those or not. And then I'm actually doing an option where I'll ship you like a builder's kit and you build it. And that's going to be obviously the cheaper, the lower end of that. So I'm going to send you all the parts that I would use to build it, but
then you assemble it yourself.
You have to build it or have it built. Yeah. And then obviously, it won't be test fired and checked by me because you built it. But
sure.
Yeah, you can save a little bit of money doing that.
MOA on those aren't guaranteed.
Right. Yeah. And we hadn't really come up with a guarantee on MOA. I always think it's kind of cheesy whenever people say it's guaranteed to be sub MOA. Dude, sub MOA is pretty easy to achieve these days.
Right.
So that may be the guarantee sub MOA. Like I said, I hadn't come up with it yet. I can tell you every one that I've built so far has been under 3/4 of a minute, and most of them have been under a half minute. The one I'm shooting right now, the one that I built for myself.
What you guarantee is that the bullet will come out the right end.
The one that I'm shooting right now, the first 2 shots through the barrel were like the fouling shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even though they were the fouling shots, they were touching, which is it's strange for the first shot ever through a barrel to be touching the next shot. They're usually like several inches apart at 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gradually increases in accuracy. But with these barrels, with the proof barrels, I found that you get one fouling shot and then the rest of them stack on top of each other. But with this one, the fouling shots were touching each other, and then the next 3 shots were almost through the exact same hole. And this is at 100 yards.
Oh, nice.
As the second shot. So I was like, wow.
Yeah. That is amazing.
And that's with me pulling the trigger. That's not, I don't lock them in a vise or anything stupid like that. It's like, I want real world conditions. So I just pick a day that the weather looks good and go sit, put a bipod on it and a sandbag on the back. And that's me pulling the trigger, looking through a 21 power optic at 100 yards. So it's no computers or machinery doing the work. It's actually real life shooting super tight groups. So there
you go, guys. That's how you can get your own Beastmaster hunting rifle coming soon.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Somebody asked me about the warranty the other day. All the parts that I use are warranted through the original manufacturers, so that's not an issue.
Okay, that's good to know.
They all stand behind their products, and I will too. If you have a rifle that breaks apart or whatever, you can either send it to me and I'll call the manufacturer of my vendor and get the part replaced, depending on how, if you ran over it with your car or whatever, obviously it's not going to be warranted. Yeah. But I guess you could say
a magazine. What magazine are you using?
Yeah, it'll come with a 20 round PMag.
PMag?
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I guess you could say it's warranted against manufacturer defect would be the best way to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of shipping, this is the coolest part of this gun, right?
Okay.
So, every time you order a rifle and you go pick it up at your FFL, what's that process like? Run me through that.
So you go and you fill out the form.
Yep.
They check your ID.
Yep.
You wait a couple of seconds, then you give them your $10, and then you're done.
Right, and they go back in the back and they get your rifle and they hand you some big ass box.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's usually a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah, just a big cardboard box. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, depends on who you, I think, what is it? Remington ships them in like a cardboard box. It's got like a foam cutout in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But most ARs, you'll get them and they'll be in a cardboard box. And then inside that cardboard box is some like, what
Plastic.
is that company? Yeah. Like Flambeau or something like that.
Yeah. Some sort of cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not good for anything. You can't lock them. Right. So you can't use them to fly with or anything like that. They're not, I have a stack of like 7 of them that I'm looking at right now. And it's like, what am I going to do with those? They fill up my trash can. They just, in general, piss me off because they're kind of useless.
Useless, yeah.
So if you buy a Beastmaster hunting rifle and you go to your FFL to pick it up, you give them your $10, you fill out your 4473. They're going to bring you your cardboard box that the rifle shipped in. And inside that cardboard box is going to be some packing to keep it safe. But your rifle will be inside a coyote pelt.
A coyote pelt.
Yeah, instead of a box. So
that's definitely unique. Is that violating any sort of
nope
any laws or anything? Okay.
Nope. I have it in writing that it's legal.
Okay.
So I actually checked on that because
that's a big coyote pelt.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, so
there you go. That's unique.
It's something that. People.
So when I order mine, I want a Bobcat pelt.
Okay, now Bobcat, we actually have to get a CITES permit.
Oh, we do. We got a little extra step for that, huh?
To ship those over state lines, you have to have a CITES permit because they're governed differently.
I'll just come pick it up in Texas. I'll keep my pelt in Texas.
Plus, Bobcat pelts are expensive.
Yeah. I was just kidding.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, no, so that's just kind of something that, if you order a Beastmaster hunting rifle, then, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it would make a great PRS rifle. One of the guys, that does some website and stuff work for me, Luke Crawford, actually shot, his rifle at, the Mammoth Sniper Challenge in Kentucky, this last weekend. So, and it was awesome for that. And we talked about all this weight savings and, stuff like that. So the rifle comes in at, without the fiberglass attachments on the stock, which wouldn't add a whole lot. It comes in at 8 pounds 1 ounce. So
without the pelt, without the fiberglass, 8 pounds 1 ounce.
Right, and that's empty. So it's not super. It's not super light.
But for a 20-inch, though, I mean that's not bad.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't trying to set out and make the lightest rifle I could. I could knock another 2 pounds off of that, but it's not going to be as accurate or as reliable as what it is. There's some companies out there making some uppers and lowers that are really quite a bit lighter, but you can take with your hands and you can actually twist them. So, and that's not what you want.
No, not out hunting. Yeah.
For accuracy, durability, and reliability, you've almost got to have the precision of a billet receiver set.
Well, I'm excited to get mine.
So
do I got to get on a list or something? How do we get this started?
Man, it's open availability right now. I've got I did it right. It's not like I don't have a 6-month lead time that turns into a year and 6-month lead time.
Not yet.
It's like, yeah, if you call me and order one, then after SHOT Show, obviously, because I'm going to be out of town for a week, I will probably build it the next day, test fire it the day after that, and ship it that day. So,
boom.
I'd say I'm at a week right now. Just so that way I can go out and get everything squared away, and I'll send you your test target and everything.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, so a coyote pelt is how I'm shipping them. So that way, and people might get butthurt about it. But you shouldn't be buying the Beastmaster hunting rifle.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do get butthurt about it, I already got your money.
Non-refundable.
But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of been the adventure over the last year, is developing this rifle and then really seeing it come to what it is and proving the theory. And
are you bringing it out to SHOT Show? You bringing one out to SHOT Show?
No, because you can't take them into SHOT, and then you got to sign the whole little agreement saying you won't try to sell anybody anything there.
Yeah.
Which it's not a place that I would try and sell something anyway, because SHOT Show for me is I'm going to go talk to all my vendors, and just say, hey, shake hands. see if there's anything new that I could add to the rifle or whatever, which I don't think there will be. You
just never know, man. As technology keeps improving, there might be some other little tweak you might need to do to it.
Yeah, where I really see a change is I've got an account set up where I can sell thermals and everything like that because that's what I hunt with. Mm-hmm. Where I see a change in availability would probably be something different with the thermal optics. So if you called me and you said, I want a rifle exactly like what you hunt with, then I'll send it to you exactly like I hunt with it, except for without the suppressor. Mm-hmm. But with the thermal, with the battery pack, with everything like that. So I could see some kind of new thermal coming out or some changes to the thermals. Yeah. Something like that, but as far as, I don't see myself changing the stock. A stock is a simple change anyway. And it's only like a $65 piece retail. So
it'd be just like the muzzle, but maybe like a personal kind of preference.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like a make or break to the deal and you called me and said, I want to order a rifle, but if you send it to me with that Luthor stock, then I'm out. Then I'll say, okay, what stock do you want? And then you can either send me one or I'll go get one and I'll add it to the invoice and won't charge you for the loose stock, So there is some room for customization. It's not going to be the set price. So, and I think that's what I did is I built the rifle that I want to shoot, mm-hmm. and I use those pieces. Every piece on that gun has a specific reason as to why I use it, right. Trigger stuff like the triggers and things like that are probably going to be non-negotiable, just because that trigger is the absolute best trigger on the market, especially for an AR-10. Yeah. And especially for a hunting application.
At some point, I mean, it's like it ceases to become the Beastmaster rifle if people start changing.
Yeah. It just becomes something with a receiver set.
Right.
The handguard is probably going to be a deal breaker. If you don't like my handguard, then sorry.
Don't buy the rifle. Yeah.
Well, and here's why. I tested like 6 different handguards. And, there's not just a ton of AR-10 handguards out there. And the one that was the most consistent and the most reliable was this Midwest handguard. With the other handguards, I had issues with like deflection on the gas block where the gas block would actually touch it during under recoil, or the way that the handguard connected to the rifle was unreliable because the barrel nut system, it had an aluminum and a steel barrel nut that didn't line up or what, it just all kinds of little things. And this took me a year to come up with. And this is like, I shoot a lot.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't like I just built a rifle.
Well, it's like I said there. I mean, you put a lot of thought into this design and this rifle. And like I said, this is something that you wanted.
Right. The prototype. So in November or December, the prototype was shot out. So I shot out the barrel in the prototype. The barrel life on these things is anywhere from, I would say, 2,500 to 5,500, depending on how you treat the gun. How hot you get it and everything like that. How fast you shoot large volumes of ammo, and that tells you how much I shot. I don't know if it was closer to the 3,000 mark or if it was closer to the 5,000 mark because I wasn't keeping track of the ammo. But I got to the point where it was like time to build a new one. The rest of the gun was fine. I could have just rebarreled it.
Yeah.
But there were some things that were a little bit different on the prototype than on the production model. And if I'm hunting with it, then I want to show people the production model. So I built one for myself. But yeah, man, it's exciting. So that's kind of like what my year has been like. So
that's going to be this is your 2018 kickoff here with the Beastmaster hunting rifle. Love it, man. Love it.
And I've told a few people about it. I mean, you knew about it, and there's probably a handful of other people that knew about it, and then everybody else that's been like, what's been going on this year? Nothing, shooting.
Well, very cool. So you guys make sure you go check out Beastmaster Hunting. They've got the YouTube channel. And have you fixed that to where it's Beastmaster Hunting now, or is that still?
It's still under Nick Atkinson, but if you just go to YouTube and you search Beastmaster Hunting, it'll bring it up. We got enough of our little spiders crawling out there now. I think it works.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure if you
just Google Beastmaster Hunting, it'll come up. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then of course the website is where you guys are going to be able to go here very soon and order your rifles. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's should be this week, and we've got all our T-shirts and hats. Oh, I've got some more hats coming. that I like a little bit better. If anybody's familiar with the hunting gear that we talked about in the bear episode, Kuyu, I actually got some of their blank hats. So they're not, they're camo pattern, their hat, but they're not logo Kuyu. And
bring me one to shop.
I will if I have them, because I'm having Velcro put on them. So that way you can take our patch and put on the hat. So there'll be like a patch hat combo, Kuyu, like camo pattern, and Verde, and in bias. So
very cool.
That'll be some new hats that'll be on the website here pretty soon too.
So before we go, there was one other thing we wanted to touch on real quick. I know this is a long ass show, so we're already over 2 hours.
We always go long. You gotta quit just telling me we're just gonna go as long as it takes, because it's like
that's what
we'll talk
do
forever.
We'll just keep going. So earlier off air, you and I were kind of looking through some things, and then you had mentioned this.
You were looking for news.
Looking for news, and you gave me some news, something I hadn't heard of yet. So there's this company out there called Franklin Armory.
Yeah.
And you guys may be familiar with them because they do that binary trigger that where you pull it, it'll discharge, and then when you let off the trigger to reset, it discharges again.
Mm-hmm.
I've used something similar. I don't think it was Franklin Armory, but there was another product that I used that was similar to that. I don't see the need for that. I don't really care for those. But they've got supposedly a way around the SBR tax stamp.
Right.
And I guess they're going to release it at SHOT Show. They're making a big buzz about it right now. But if you go to their website, Franklin Armory,
they haven't said how either.
Haven't said how or any. There's no details. There's just a picture of a SB. It looks to be an SBR.
It's an 11-inch,
11.5 inch. Yeah.
Yeah. What looks like a rifle with a collapsible stock, right?
That's what it looks like.
So
it's a Magpul SL stock. It's got on it.
We were talking about this, before we started recording, and I told you I had a theory.
You had a theory as to
how
they're getting away with this. Yeah.
Okay, so are you familiar with the Shockwave shotgun?
Yes.
So the way they get around that, or part of it, is it's a smooth bore, right? So it's not a rifle because it's a smooth bore.
Okay.
But it has a pistol grip and no stock. And the definition of a shotgun is it has a stock. Okay, but it's manufactured with a pistol grip, so it's not a shotgun.
Okay.
And it's not a pistol because it doesn't have a rifled barrel, right? And it fires a shotgun cartridge. So it's not defined as a pistol, a rifle, or a shotgun, right?
Okay.
So the only thing I could come up with is they're doing it the same way as far as it's not meeting the definition of a pistol, a rifle, or a shotgun, right?
So they don't have rifling in the barrel?
Here's my theory, okay? It is a rifle. It's not defined as a rifle because what I think is maybe they've got like an inch of smooth bore. So it's a 1-inch barrel, a 1-inch smooth bore barrel, and a 10-inch rifled compensator. That's what I'm guessing. It's a 10-inch muzzle device. That's my guess.
Oh,
this is 100% my guess.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a 6-inch barrel with a 6-inch rifled comp on it or whatever.
But wouldn't that still screw up your?
I don't know.
Your shots?
I mean, it works really good with. You can get rifled shotgun chokes.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my theory.
Okay. I mean that makes more sense than anything that I can just sit here looking at because everything I'm looking at right now looks like. Yeah, looks just like
so if that's the case, it's not a pistol because it has a stock. It's not a shotgun because it fires a cartridge. But it's not a rifle because it has a smooth bore. So it doesn't fit the definition of any of those firearms.
Right. I guess.
I guess, yeah.
We're going to find out. We'll find out in...
That's the only thing I could think. If anybody
7 days?
If anybody can come up with something... some theory.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get in touch with these guys, Franklin Armory, and I'm going to try to get them on the show at SHOT Show, and we'll hear it firsthand. How about that?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. And it's called the Reformation, is what they're calling it.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe they're calling it. Maybe they manufacture it as a pistol, and they say the stock is not a stock or something. I don't know, but it looks like it says a stock on it.
They say right, it's a Magpul SL stock. I mean, they print it right there in black and white.
So Yeah, that's the only thing I could think is it's got to be some combination of a smoothbore with some type of rifling device. And, you know, like we talked about earlier, is everybody can kind of claim like 1 MOA is kind of like a throwaway deal now.
But if
I bet it would shoot a minute.
It shoot a minute. Well, is that so? Do you see the muzzle device that's on that right now? Does that look like anything you've seen before?
No, here, let me pull up a picture of it. But no,
it looks like a 3-prong.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a silencer co trifecta or whatever it's called, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see that I kind of looked at that earlier, and that's not one of the silencer codes.
They make one of their own. They've got a
Franklin does?
Yeah. If you go under their parts and go to their muzzle devices, it looks like it's one of their triumpher.
Is that what's their website?
FranklinArmory.com.
I mean, does it look like one of those?
It looks like what they've got on that one, yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe that's part of the muzzle device.
Well, they may have that, and they just may have extended it, you know.
Maybe. I mean, you'd have to have some pretty precise machining to do what I'm talking about, which is possible. I mean, you know.
Well, they are making binary triggers, so.
Yep. All right, where are you finding it? Under upper parts?
Just go to parts.
Compensators and flash suppressors.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it is one of those. But, you know, maybe that's part of the deal. It's just on the end of it or something.
Right. They just did the longer version of it.
Yeah, all I know is there's going to be some people at this booth at SHOT Show. Right. It's going to be like when X Products first came out with that AR drum magazine. Everybody's like, "What? What is this? It's not a beta mag?" You know what I'm talking about?
But it's not saying, they're not saying on here that it's approved, NFA approved. It just says no tax stamp.
No, yeah, they are. They're it says it ships with a letter of approval.
Where do you see that at?
Oh, I don't remember.
It doesn't say it on their website.
Yeah, and it says it uses patent pending technology. So that's what makes me think it's something to do with the barrel.
The barrel, probably.
A whole new market segment that will not require NFA approval until the ATF says it does.
Yeah, exactly. Until another bozo goes wacko in Vegas.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, man, do I want to buy one of these or not? Because what I'm afraid of is
find out what it is first.
Well, I buy one. Yeah, okay. Well, assuming that it's something pretty cool, like an 11-inch rifle that you don't have to get a tax stamp for.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. I would buy one. Or what I really want is like an 8-inch. But that's a soundbite for you to save.
That's what she said.
But what I'd be afraid of is I'd buy one, and then, you know, in 6 months or a year or 2 years or however long, the ATF comes out and says, "Well, we made them illegal," you know, or whatever.
Right. Well, it's kind of like they did with the braces, and they came out and said, you know, you can shoot them however the fuck you want to, and then they came back, well, no, you can't shoulder them.
And then they came back and said, yeah, whatever.
And then they came back and said, yeah, you can do whatever.
But this is a little different when you're talking about probably $1,000 or $1,200 gun versus a $50 brace, you know?
Yeah.
The $50 brace, you can just pull off your pistol, air quotes, pistol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got them. I use them.
Whatever.
I love them. I love the braces.
I've got one too. But this is a little different. It's like, what do you do with your $1,200 rifle now? Do you go get it engraved and submit a tax stamp and take it apart until
they decide what's going to happen?
Until you get your tax stamp? Yeah, I mean, it's weird, you know? But hey, you got to give it to them. That's some badass marketing right there.
It's got us talking about it, definitely. So that's something I wanted to throw out there before we signed off here, because I want...
It's got an ergo grip on it, too.
I did. I saw that. I was like, that's one good thing about it. It's got ergo grip. Like my boy Ernie Sandoval over there, hooking them up. So we wanted to throw that out there before we wrapped up the show.
Yeah, tell everybody to put in the comments, like, what do you think it is?
Yeah, so let's do it. We'll run a little contest. So when I post this on Facebook and Instagram, social medias, you guys leave a little comment as to what you think, how they're getting around the SBR tax stamp on this. And I'll give away, I've got some nice Glock swag that I'll give away. And speaking of, I'm going to do a giveaway this episode too. and I'm going to let Nick pick the winner, and the winner's going to get some nice Glock Shooting Sport Foundation swag.
Dang, what are we just randomly picking people?
we're just gonna randomly pick somebody. So what I want you to do is go to, let's see, where should we go to? I went to Instagram. Last giveaway was from Instagram. A guy posted a comment on one of my posts, and he won a Tactical Squirrel box for December.
Nice.
Which was loaded with some awesome stuff in it. So you guys can go to our Instagram page and see what all he won there. Let's go, since we did Instagram, let's go to Facebook.
Okay.
So go to Talking Lead's Facebook page. Okay. And go to the post I've got pinned to the top there. The Glock episode.
Yep.
The TLP 229. Since I'm giving away Glock stuff, we might as well do a Glock post. So there's, this went out to, almost 15,000 people. So of the 15,000 people, it's like I got about 43 or 45 likes.
Yep.
Are you able to click on that and see everybody who liked it?
Yes.
Okay. So just randomly go down through there. And pick somebody.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I can't pick anybody that I know, so that already rules out like half of these. Actually, all 45. Okay.
Yeah, Chad can't win. Chad Enos cannot win. Sorry.
Yeah,
Chad.
neither can Kalani.
Kalani can't win. No.
Let's say.
How about John Paul Ryan? He loved it. He and Chad Enos loved it.
Oh, so they're the only ones that loved it, huh?
There was, of the 45, only 2 people loved it.
I think. Oh, and he lives in Texas. Yeah, I think he wins.
Let's do John. All right, John Paul Ryan, you are the winner of a nice little Glock Shooting Sports Foundation swag package that I'm going to put together for you. So hopefully you listen to the show. And just shoot me an email at talkinglead@gmail.com or hit me up on Facebook. Just private message me on Facebook. And I want to get your contact info to where we need to mail this. So John Paul Ryan, R-I-N-E. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for doing that, Nick. I'm sure, John appreciates that as well. So I'm trying to make it easy. So this is our 5th year. We're celebrating Talking Lead's 5th year this year, Nick. And we're going to be just giving away stuff at random all year long.
I like it.
And the prizes are going to get bigger and better as we go. So
nice.
You leadheads, stay tuned. Big thanks again to all the sponsors of the show. Right On, RightOnUSA.com, Frontier Tactical, FrontierTactical.com, X-Steel Targets at XSteelTargets.com, Modern Spartan Systems, ModernSpartanSystems.com, High Threat Concealment, HighThreatConcealment.com. And these websites are easy. And VanQuest. VanQuest is VanQuest.com. So check out all their sponsors, all the friends of the show. Make sure you're supporting them. And like I said, with the giveaways going all year long, I'm sure all these companies are going to step up and have some nice giveaways for you lead heads. And don't forget that lead head discount code as you're going and shopping and getting all these awesome prizes. In 1776, our new shirts are out. Go to 1776united.com and get your new Leadhead Brigade t-shirt. Probably going to have a contest related to those like we did a couple of years back where we gave away an AR. So stay tuned for that as well. Nick, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of days here at SHOT Show.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a good time.
And can we talk about our secret thing? I mean, just say that we're working on a secret thing, or should we not talk about it at all?
Let's save it for talking about it at SHOT, so that way maybe we can have our secret partner involved also.
Okay. Can I leave all that in, all our secret stuff we just said?
Yeah, why not? It'll give people incentive to listen to the SHOT Show episode.
There you go. Well, I mean, there's going to be incentive enough because we're going to have some awesome people on. We're going to have Michael Bain is going to be joining us. We've got him scheduled. We've got the Lucky Shot. Have you heard of Lucky Shot company?
Sounds familiar.
They make a lot of products that are based on things that our military men and women, like during World War I, World War II, made while they were at war, just using the materials around them, you know, big shells and things like that.
That's cool.
So mugs and shot glasses, and they make these really cool glasses that have bullets in them. Like
I have seen that. It looks like the bullets. Yeah, it looks like
glasses.
the bullets coming out of them, right?
Well, it's like it's going in them.
Well, yeah, it looks like they're being shot through them or whatever.
Yes, yeah. So we're gonna have those guys on. Again, we're gonna be in the Keltec booth all 4 days. Lots and lots of companies lined up. New companies that you guys haven't heard from yet. So I'm really excited about this. We're trying to get the Black Rifle Coffee Company? You heard of that?
I have.
Trying to work out maybe getting those guys on too. So that'll be cool. So, all right, Nick, as always, tell the lead heads.
Oh yeah. Well, no, you got to start it, right?
You want me to start it? All right.
I thought you always started it.
I do, but you know, I like to mix it up every now.
Well, you can't mix it up. It's confusing.
It screws me up, man. So as always, lead heads, keep your loved ones close.
Keep your hound dogs closer.
You boogers.
Booger. Huck.
He's a good boy.